What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Indie Games Podcast. I do believe we are live. Hopefully we are live, guys. If there's some sign of thumbs up in the chat, that is always appreciated, because it's always fun stuff at the start when you think you're live and you're not quite live. But I do believe we are live. So thank you so much, everyone who is here for the Indie Games Podcast, returning after the E3 period, which went into overdrive E3 goodness for a couple of weeks, and we just went full on into that on this channel and a lot of other channels around too, which was absolutely awesome and a blast, soaking all that goodness up. And we are going to be doing a bit of a wrap up of that today, because we haven't had a chance to quite get in there with our final thoughts on the games shown off around the E3 period. And there were an absolute ton of indie games shown off over that period. I do believe in myself, no doubt this is an expected thing for me to say, but I believe indie games won the E3 period. Absolutely awesomely done. There were so many awesome games. It was almost overwhelming to take them all in, and that is why we are here today, to try and bring some clarity into some of our favorites, and maybe remind you of some that might have flown past you in the moment, and just discuss and chat and celebrate some awesome indie games that have been shown off that are upcoming. And really exciting times. Would love to hear your thoughts on all those indie games that have been shown off too. If you saw any ones that really stood out to you, would definitely love to hear that. But yes, I'm very excited. We have an amazing panel. We have an awesome chat flowing through. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Very excited to be back doing this. We're going to be doing, like I say, the main focus of the show will be our best games of E3 2021, but we will be diving into a little bit of just a very small other topics just to warm up, and then we'll get into that main feature of showcasing some of our best games that we've picked actually as a whole panel to kind of dive into. But yes, I firstly want to get into some introductions to these absolutely amazing people who have joined me. I am overwhelmed with the fantastic panel that I've pulled together today. And yeah, cannot wait to hang and chat indie games with all of these guys. I'm going to do it from top to bottom, as always, because I'm terrible at missing people out. As I did it once with Pong So, and I will never do that again. My man Pong So, I'm so sorry. So it's always best top to bottom for me now. But starting off with a very good friend of mine, someone who has done many shows with me over this E3 period, and I've absolutely loved hanging out with him. He always brings such great presence and charisma to the shows, and I'm sure I'm making him blush right now, but he also brings awesome knowledge, and he loves those indie games, and that is what I'm about. So it's awesome to see him back on the show today. I'm absolutely overjoyed to have him back. Thank you very much for coming back, Judzilla. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, Indy. Thank you very much for having me back. I really appreciate it. We've got a fantastic panel, as you can see, a great chat, so many good things to talk about. It's going to be a really cool show, I think. And yeah, thanks for picking me up. I'm not sure I bought your sales pitch, but I'll take it. Good to see you, buddy.
Great to see you too, my friend. It's always a fun time with you, bro. And sales pitch, I don't know about that. It's coming from the heart. It's all truth, my friend. But yeah, great to have you back on. Yeah, we're going to dive into some of what's been going on recently. But yeah, I'm going to move a little bit quickly through these intros. So thanks again, Judsy, baby. Next up, we have got another returning guest to the channel, someone who is always supporting in the chat if he's not chatting with myself in DMs about indie games that he loves. A truly passionate gamer, a fantastic upcoming artist as well. Definitely follow him on Twitter for some cool artwork as well as gaming stuff too. It's an absolute pleasure to have Meisuko back on the show again today. How are you doing, my friend?
Thank you very much, indeed. That's a wonderful intro. So yeah, I am super happy to talk about the indies, because there was like hundreds of indie games, so I am ready for the talk. So let's bring the indie goodness.
Yes, that's my man. Indie goodness will be trademarked one day if we don't miss the chance.
Definitely.
I love it, bro. We've got to get those t-shirts coming. Actually, that's the next step. Indie goodness on t-shirts.
Yeah. You have to make it.
It's got to happen, hasn't it, my friend? That is awesome. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have you back on, buddy. Thank you so much for being part of this one. It's going to be a fun one. I can't wait to hear all your thoughts. Cheers, my friend. And next up, a first-time guest on the show, I do believe, but someone who I absolutely love listening to on the Fun Speculation podcast, and he's recently started out his own channel too, which is awesome, and it is linked in the description below if you want to check that out. I highly recommend you do. Someone who has a ton of knowledge about gaming. He is very good on the tech side of things, as I've recently discovered, but he's also a very passionate gamer in general, and I really love what he's about. He's a very down-to-earth kind of guy. But yeah, I absolutely am thrilled to be having him on the show today. It is Psychonauts. How are you doing, my friend?
Thank you for the intro, man. I'm excited to be here. I've been watching your show and seeing you in chat all over the place, and just couldn't wait to be talking games with you, especially indie games, because they don't get enough love in the industry. So I can't wait to talk about the stuff that we saw at E3. So
awesome.
Let's get into it.
Awesome, buddy. That is fantastic. Yeah, totally agree. It's always, the constant mission of the channel. So I'm glad you tapped into that, because that's what we're all about. So thank you very much. Yeah, we're all about bringing the spotlight to those indie games. So thank you for being on board. And that's going to be a fun time to do that with you, buddy. So an absolute honor. And finally, and last but not least, someone you will have seen quite a bit of on this channel, who always brings such a great presence to shows, and someone who I love hanging out with. A very kind of always an intelligent point of view from this guy, but always passionate, and still on his journey to become a developer. I've been watching closely, and you definitely want to check out his Twitter page for all of his development progressions, which is so exciting to see. But yeah, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming back on the show once again, Puxley. It's always a pleasure, my friend. How are you doing?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Indy. Yes, I'm doing very well, thank you. Always appreciate your kind words on his introductions. No, I'm doing great, thanks. Quite busy in terms of work, so I haven't had an awful lot of time to play any games as of late this week. But as you just mentioned, a lot of my time has been spent on my dev journey, posting on Twitter more actively at the moment on a little project I've been working on. So a little thing in the works. But yeah, apart from that, really enjoying. Really looking forward to discussing indie games with you and the rest of the panel. It's going to be good fun.
Awesome stuff, buddy. Yeah, no, that is fantastic. It's always a pleasure having you on, as I say. So, yeah, thank you once again for being a return guest and essentially a panel member, really, on the channel. But yeah, it's always a fun time. You're always the safest hands in the business, I would say. One of them, anyway. Yeah, definitely great to have you, buddy. But yes, guys, thank you so much to all the chat who has joined us. Everyone's coming through. Hopefully, we'll get a few more in of the regulars. It'd be great to see a few more in. So, if you wouldn't mind sharing this bad boy out, it would mean the absolute world. That yeah, just get a good feeling here so we can share that indie goodness with some more people. That would be fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. But I want to shout out a few of you awesome people who have joined us so far, and it means the world to have you in. Thank you very much for being here. I want to shout out Muppet1169. Thank you very much for being here, buddy. Marion the Mad, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for being here. Blue Moon FC in the house. How are you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for coming by. We got Shizno Elite in the house, bringing the elite goodness to the house. Thank you very much, Shizno, for being here, buddy. It is great to see you. Thanaros is in too. Thank you very much for being here, my friend. We got Boogeyman in the house, back from the dead. Josh Lightcap saying Silk Song Baby. He knows where it's at. And who else we got? It's Timmy is in the house. Thank you very much for being here, buddy. Been enjoying our little chats lately about Hades. Definitely awesome game, Hades. I'm looking forward to all the Xbox folk getting to play that game. Yeah, who else do we have in here? We have I think that might be everyone other than the panel, but yeah, thank you so much everyone who is here. If you are, we've got that Mama Rocks in the house as well. Awesome to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, so like I say, everybody who is here, we really do appreciate you coming by. Hopefully we can celebrate some indie goodness and yeah, get cracking onto some of these topics. Like I say, the main focus of the show will be our best indie games, which we've picked individually, and we're going to dive into. That will be a little bit later on, but we're going to firstly talk a little bit more broadly about kind of our thoughts on E3 as a whole. Yeah, then we're going to dive into one other small topic, but I think we should just warm up with just get the old stretches out, maybe a little jog on the spot, essentially, with a bit of how we felt about E3 as a whole. I mean, obviously, if we can, there was a lot of indie showcases around it. I know, Judge, you did quite a few with myself, like the Guerrilla Collective, the Wholesome Direct, and stuff like that. There was so many going on. Tribeca was another one that I done with VJ and Luke, I believe, which was a nice kind of like an artistic approach to things. The Tribeca Games Spotlight, which was great. There was the KickOff Live event as well, which is not technically E3, but like it's all around this period, and that had some quite good indie games in there as well. Some fantastic ones, I should say. There was one especially which stood out to myself, which is actually on the screen as a screenshot at the moment, which was Planet of Lana. You got Devolver Showcase, Xbox Showcase. There was indie representation left, right, and center, which was fantastic to see. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm saying it's pretty good in regards to indie stuff. But as a whole, though, do you think E3 is is you up for E3 being a constant? Some people are saying maybe E3 should die and it should be individual showcases. Some people, feel like it needs to come back and be as a whole. Do you think it was a good time? Was it conducted well? I mean, they were under a lot of pressure with so much going on with the back end of of COVID and stuff like that. So how did you feel about everything, Juds? Did you feel like it was a success, the old E3 goodness?
Yeah, I think overall it was. Excuse me. I think it was overall a success. I think the amount of indie showcases was pretty surprising to me. I couldn't believe the amount of individual shows they did, which was fantastic. From an Xbox point of view, I thought they knocked it out of the park. I was really happy with that. Had a little bit of indie stuff in there, but they could have done to put a few more bits and pieces in. But fantastic show. Had pretty much everything I wanted in it, to be honest. Nice. And the others, they were okay. But yeah, should we keep it? Absolutely. It's that 1 week of the year we can all go, I'm going to take some time off work. I'm going to play some games.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what sales are on. I think it'll be easier when everyone's back physical again after the pandemic's calmed down a bit, to get everyone back in the same place and get that buzz going and people visiting LA and things like that. But overall, it's good. My only disappointment really was no Phil Spencer shelves
That
So
is
that was-
disappointing.
You know, yeah, it kind of sucks a little bit, but there you go.
That's got to knock you pretty heavy.
Well, I didn't sleep for days.
Not much Phil
Well,
Spencer in
technically-
general either, was there? Really, quite. It's a little small appearance from Phil.
Well, they had the FanFest going on prior
Yeah,
to
that's
E3.
true.
So he had his shelves there. So
Oh,
I missed
nice
that.
little
I
loophole
missed
there.
yeah.
So we haven't got a shelf gate on our hands. That's okay then.
So a little sneak in, a shelf sneak there. That was I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it was cool that they did an amazing job considering, in fact, it was, no audience and stuff. Did take away a bit of the atmosphere, but it can't be expected this time. I think it done a fantastic job of presentation of it. It looked absolutely phenomenal the way it was done. Pacing was amazing on the Xbox show. Yeah, there was a mixed bag of events, obviously. Summer Game Fest KickOff live show had a bit too much fluff going on it, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I feel that they showed some awesome stuff, but they filled it out with some silly stuff like just movie trailers and 3 musical performances in one show is too many, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
One would be fine. One's cool. But yeah, I know Puxley was enjoying a musical experience earlier on from the Summer Game Fest, which is the Sonic show. Didn't you, Puxley? Is that right, my friend?
Oh man, yeah, I was watching it this morning during my work. So I'm working from home today, and
Cool.
I just remembered that. Oh my god, I missed this performance because it was free for everyone to watch. It's on YouTube, live streamed, whatever else, and it's one of the most phenomenal symphonies I think I've watched in a very long time. There's been quite a lot of gaming-based ones, hasn't there? I think I watched the Legend of Zelda one a number of years ago. I think back on the 25th anniversary, I think it was.
Yep.
But the Sonic one is 2 hour long. Yeah, 2 hour long. It sounds like a really long time, right? But it kind of starts off with about 40 minutes worth of orchestra going through the beginnings of the Sonic games, and the music's there, and it's all kind of remixed in a nice orchestral sound as well, which sounded really good. And then it was like, oh, they missed out a few key songs, in my opinion. Then there was like this 15-minute interval, and then there's this other band that come out and do some covers, and then Crush 40 themselves come out, which is amazing. If you're a Sonic fan, you should know who Crush 40 are. They basically are the band that do all of the main soundtrack for all the Sonic games. So that was really good fun to listen to. Highly recommend everyone to watch it, especially if you're a Sonic fan.
Love it. That's awesome, buddy. Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting too into it there.
No, I like that. I'm Harold Halibut. I'm crying on Harold Halibut's trailer. That was pre-game, so maybe everyone didn't know about that. But if you're Puxley, you're passionate about the Sonic music. I mean, the Sonic soundtracks were always epic back in the day. They really were. So yeah, I bet that was cool. But and also, the Sonic Mania and all that. Is they still doing Sonic Mania and stuff? The same band, is it? Or
no, they actually did that near the beginning. So it all started off through the orchestra side of things, and they had went through original. So it started off with Sonic way back on the Mega Drive or the Genesis in other areas. Then it was Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and then they played Sonic Mania and did a few others, all covered by the orchestra. And then it was like some of the more the 3D games that went on to the actual bands and stuff. But then I don't really want to ruin the ending, because the ending was absolutely phenomenal, because the Crush 40 and the orchestra kind of do this massive joint musical for probably, I think, one of the best songs in the whole Sonic franchise.
Wow.
Leave that to you to decide what you think that is, but if you want to know, please check it out. I won't spoil it for you, but it's incredible.
Nice. You should. The Sonic. We've drifted off a little bit, but that's totally fine. Sonic Mania was made by a fan, essentially, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a guy called Christian Whitehead. Yeah, I think he made a load of retro fan games, and then he pitched it. I think it was whatever it was a couple of years ago, and it actually went somewhere. And actually, just to put it out there, I'm not. God, I should be advertised. Sonic Mania is actually now free to play or free to download via Epic Game Store. I've actually been jumping into that for the first time and really enjoying that.
Nice, because I was going to say, I mean, I noticed you were playing around with some stuff. I don't, there was a bit of Sonic in there on your development experiments. So, could you be this Christian Whitehead number 2, version 2?
God, that would be the dream, definitely.
Nice, would be sweet, brother. That is awesome. I love to see your journey. It's fantastic, bro. But yeah. Sorry, go ahead, my friend.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, because I think I remember saying on some of your previous shows that I think one of my biggest goals would be to get to a point I'd love to make a small like 3D platformer, and then
Yeah.
I thought, why am I waiting for it? Let me just give it a go. I felt like I've been doing it long enough, and then I needed a character. I looked online
Yeah.
for just a model or something, and then I found this animated character, which is, as you probably guessed, it's a little Sonic character that I have
Yeah.
jumping around, and I'm giving him abilities and kind
Looks
of
really good. I have to
teaching
say.
myself how to do it. And I plan to make a small fan game is kind of what's becoming my aim now, and then move on to something else, I guess. But we'll see where it goes.
It's awesome, buddy. I think it's fantastic, and I have to say, I thought what you did looked awesome. I don't know how much of that is all like kind of like bespokely done or whatever. It looked amazing to me, and that was fantastic, my friend. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you keep up the great work, buddy. So we're back on. I think we're on Judd's, weren't we? I keep touching the mic. Sorry about that. If you heard that, but Judd's, you. So you thought it was good. Do you feel like it should be a condensed period? That's what you're saying. Is it like you kind of don't feel it should be, each individual show? I know, because like these like Tribeca stuff and all that, I feel like that's fine. I mean, I know that's not technically that's not E3. So what they've done is they've taken the E3 period and used that as a sort of as a kind of like a platform, maybe to a boost off of whatever the word would be. So they've kind of gone for the E3 period where everyone's focused in on it and jumped on to showcase at that time. Do you think that's you think that's kind of like a good way of doing things where it's all condensed? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I do actually, and especially for smaller developers as well. If you think of E3, it's literally, the gaming press, the eyes are on E3, the press of the world. It always gets covered on, even on mainstream, that isn't gaming press. You see it on TV and things like that. So having that set time where everyone can get together, it's a great showcase. And again, when people are on the show floor and they can go around playing some of these indies and some of the other bigger games as well, and be part of that, and not just one developer sort of sat in his house doing the game. He's actually part of that entire scene.
Yeah,
I think it gives them a massive boost, the sort of publicity that is really, really difficult to get. So
yeah,
the only thing I would say about E3 is, as always, is like keep your expectations in check, which is really difficult. But
it's like I said when we were going into E3 though. I totally agree with keeping your expectations in check. It depends on what kind of expectations you have, though, if that makes any sense. Because I feel like if you're open-minded about gaming, you don't need to worry, because that's always going to be you're gonna enjoy it, and that's what I went in with. And I thought I was really happy with E3 as a whole. So much stuff came out of it, but even there was some smaller stuff which wasn't actually at E3, and it kind of got a release date over the E3 period, if you see what I mean, and stuff like that. A lot of people kind of using the time as a platform. But yeah, let's move on to my man Meisuko. Did you enjoy E3? And did you feel like it's a good it works well as this kind of like condensed period? Or do you think showcases can just be done on their own? Are you happy that it's back and you want to see it carry on and go back to how it was before, essentially? And did you think, what did you think of how the level of the quality in general, and maybe a bit of an indie slant on that too would be awesome.
Definitely. This year felt better than last year, and I think that these different shows that are running during the E3 period, they are starting to mold their own niche, I would maybe say. So they are all focusing a tiny bit different things, I feel, and I think indies are getting much more spotlight now, because pre-COVID situation we had pretty much the indie sizzle trailers during the big three when they were showing them. So
yes, exactly.
Indies are getting now much more spotlight, and not just the games, but also the developers. They are getting to say, like, of course, not everybody gets to talk how they are feeling about their own game or other subjects, but still there is much more meat about the indies now being shown to the whole public, not just to the, let's say, to the press that goes to the E3 location and gets to talk with the developers, but now more the general gaming community gets to experience the indie games and developers' feelings and so on.
That's a good point. Like, because it's more of appealing to the broader audience rather than the hardcore who look for it. If that's what I think you mean there. That's an interesting point. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, did you catch many of the sort of indie showcases? Like, did you catch any like the Guerrilla Collective and stuff like that? I think I may have seen you in the chat. It was
I catch all of them that you showed. So pretty much watched them all, but there was so many games, so I had to go back and watch and
it's a crazy thing,
get a little bit remember them, because you can say that some of these shows, they really have high quality, high standards, and I would say that there is very little throwaway games on these shows.
Totally agree. Definitely agree there. That's a great shout. I mean, because the thing is as well, it's like it's interesting to see from Xbox. They're obviously they've got the most attention. And what they've done, they've started to do this over previous years as well, I believe, and that's show games in full on the main stage, front and center, next to the big games, which is awesome. They just treating them just the same as a AAA game. There's no discrimination against them or anything like that, which is fantastic. So that was more clear than ever, I think, with this E3, because there was not a sizzle reel even in sight, even though that was uploaded after. I did say after as kind of a joke, because I like a sizzle reel myself, because I like sort of dissecting and then looking up the games, as well as obviously the games to be main in full. I love to see indies in full, obviously, but then they didn't have the sizzle reel. But then it was, like I say, uploaded I think a day or two later, ID Xbox sizzle reel as well. So that was cool to see. I got my little fix there of that. But yeah, I love seeing them in full, and that is an amazing thing that they give them that push right up front. It helps people who are not so open-minded kind of it helps it be normalized. And it sounds like it's some bad thing to play indie games or something, but I believe some people actually feel that way, which is ridiculous. But
I think that these shows should show the broader public that there is high quality, like really high quality, and different kind of games, not just normal big publishers and their brands and their games that are coming every year, but something different. And I think people are ready to experience different kind of games. I hope so.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's a great point. I think people are much more open-minded as time goes on. There's always going to be a few, but yeah, no, they're definitely doing the right thing, showcasing them on the main stage. And I love to see it. It's fantastic. But yeah, Psychonauts buddy, I know you were chiming in a little bit there regarding the Xbox showing them off on the main stage, front and center, next to the big boys. What do you think about the whole thing? Do you feel like, as well as that, do you feel like E3 should be back, and do you think like these smaller showcases can be done in their own right, or do you think it's good as a sort of condensed period? And how did you feel about the whole quality of E3 in general?
I think E3 was fantastic as a whole. With Microsoft, I was kind of expecting an ID at Xbox, like sizzle reel of indie games that are coming out, like The Ascent and other games were announced, that kind of wishing that they showed something along those aspects. But I mean, like Devolver's show was fantastic. We covered the Future Game Show. That was fantastic as well.
Yeah, they always do an amazing job of presentation. Actually, I've done quite a few of the reactions to that. Did you do a reaction to that on your on Fun Speculation channel? Or?
Yeah.
Nice.
We covered pretty much all of the E3 except for Capcom. 'Cause what we did see, there wasn't too much, so we kind of just switched over. But in a whole, I loved it. I think they should stay E3 should stay and really promote how kind of go back to how they were with their showcases, And this was like, it wasn't thrown together, but the pandemic really kind of hurt a lot of these companies, so they didn't get a lot of games to be announced and shown.
Yeah.
Some of them really didn't show off a lot. Others, like Xbox and Future Game Show and Devolver, they really came out and showed us a lot of great games, AAA to single A, indie games, everything. So it was a good mixture of what we saw at E3.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's you can see, as many of us kind of sort of predicted, it was going to be, as the indies are able to continue business as usual, because they often work from home, or they're a very small team anyway. And I think we could see in these bigger the AAA publishers that were at E3, you could definitely see where they had been. They've been up against it essentially. I feel like that's you have to have some grace, and I think I know it was bad, all of their stuff, but they were up against it with COVID. I think that's why they were a lot more lacking. That's why again I feel like indies have nailed it, but they kind of had. It sort of played into their hand essentially, but at the end of the day, I still feel like I would say that the AAA publishers could have done a little better, even still with the situation. I don't know if you agree about that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, like Xbox came and they came out swinging. That's why I kind of wish PlayStation would come back. Just because we can get to see what all titles, like what they're coming out with, indie games that are coming out on the platform. So people, instead of doing these state of plays and that's it, which they pretty much focus on their titles, and sometimes they might show some third party, but E3 is where they show everything that's coming out for the platform. So I kind of hope that PlayStation just comes back to E3, because Nintendo did a good job this year, because that was their first time back in a couple of years, and they did a pretty good job with showing for everything, a lot of different things, from Pokemon and first party titles and third party titles. So let's go back to back in the day and have everyone be there.
Yeah, it will be nice if that comes back for sure. It's a celebration. It's a real, as well as the gaming side of things, it's also coming together as gamers in that respect, which is such a cool thing. I've been, obviously I don't live in the United States, but I've been to EGX, so that's kind of our biggest one over here. And it was cool. I met up with a couple of people last time I went, but next time I'm hoping we're going to get as many people as possible to get there, and that'll be amazing to meet up with some of all the people who we speak to and stuff. But I love that part of it, to come together and celebrate gaming and just
Exactly.
it's so much fun. You can't beat it. But great shout there, my friend. And Puxley, from a whole, did you feel like E3 was a success? Did you pressed with how games were shown off? Obviously there was a lot of different showcases, different styles. Guerrilla Collective were good, but they had a ton of indie games back to back. How do you feel about the kind of packed in approach as opposed to more curated approach, where it's more less games maybe, just adding that one in there for you to give it a bit of flavor, my friend? I hope you don't mind. But how did you feel about E3 as a whole? Did you enjoy it, buddy?
As a whole, I definitely enjoy it, but just as much as I think everybody enjoys it every year, right? I think when we missed it, when it wasn't around last year, again, I think as was said earlier, that there's been a lot of chat over the last few years that, has E3 had its day? Should it disappear completely and have something else? And then, due to obviously events last year, it didn't happen, and then we kind of almost saw a post E3 world, I would argue. And I think most people, or rather a lot of people, I'd like to think, probably thought, actually, without E3, this is all a bit over the place. You're then relying on these all the different publishers to off their own back to decide when to do something, and you're kind of left waiting in the lurch effectively, and relying on people that have sources on Twitter or whatever else to kind of potentially leak, there's a potential show starting in the next couple of weeks or days, whatever else. And it's all a kind of this, a bit of a waiting game. So it's mid-year, we're all expecting news and we're not getting news, and maybe that's just the greediness of the consumer, but at the same time I think we've been I don't know, programmed after so many years of having an event like E3 that once it disappears and you're not getting that information as consistently as you did in previous years, I think that's when a lot of us felt it. So I really like to see it back this year. I equally do. Overall, I did enjoy it. I know there's been a lot of negativity towards some of the bigger shows, like the Ubisoft show, the EA show, the Capcom show. I think most of the other kind of larger publishing branches always seem to have a pretty poor E3 experience. I'd argue that part of that's maybe due to, you can still argue, COVID is still a thing. It still exists. We can't forget about that, and it has affected developers that do work from home. So obviously, progress on new titles or future titles is going to be slowed down significantly compared to normal in working environment. I definitely really enjoyed the Microsoft Showcase. I do kind of feel that I wasn't as amazed by it as I thought I would be, especially in hindsight. But I think the main reason for that, it's not because I didn't enjoy it or I'm knocking it. It was more because most of the games that we saw, we already kind of knew about, because Microsoft kind of played a lot of their hand mid last year or late last year regarding what's coming to the Xbox in the future. And a lot of this show I feel was kind of more showing off more of what was announced prior. And I think some of the things that were newly revealed, I can't really remember what they were, so it kind of proves my point. They were kind of titles which I wasn't too bothered about anyway. So but overall, I really enjoyed it. As Psychonaut said, really enjoyed the Nintendo Showcase.
Nice.
But again, I think they've suffered very similarly due to COVID restrictions, all that kind of stuff. We did get our Breath of the Wild 2 update, which I think all of us anticipated.
Yeah, that was. I thought that was a bit lacking the content of that, but it was there. Don't know how you felt about that.
It was good to see it. It was very short. It was better to see something than nothing, I feel. Because I think so much of the fan base that was the biggest thing that we needed, right? Because bearing in mind, this game was revealed, I think, back in 2018, I believe, that there was a sequel coming for it. So to actually see an update was good. But then Nintendo did come out a few days later and say they're not revealing much more details or even the title, because apparently it gives away massive story beats in the plot. So if that's anything to read into, then I'm kind of happy to wait. But there's so many other titles and games coming out. It's there's too much to play. I would argue.
Ridiculous amount, honestly. Yeah, it's like crazy. I've been listing, as I say, I've been making spreadsheets to try and keep on top of things. It's just craziness, but I love it. But it's planning is the key, I think, to try and make the most of it all. But yeah, we're going to be absolutely we're going to be up to our neck in it, basically, or even more.
Even with services like Game Pass, I feel like there's. Okay, this is a good problem. Let me just point this out for those listening. This is a good problem to have.
Exactly.
But I feel there are too many games to play at the moment, especially what's coming to Game Pass. And I think, especially for August, for me, because you're going to hate me for this, Indy, but I still haven't got around to playing Hades. So it was great news for me to see that that's coming out to Game Pass.
Mute. Sorry.
I believe Hades is coming to Game Pass on August 11th, I believe. But then it's
August 13th, I think.
15th. 13th. It's one of those days.
I think it's 13th, yeah.
But then it's 13th? It's like just less than a week later, it's 12 Minutes is being released, and then it's another week later that it's Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
And then there's all these titles coming out in these really close time frames, which again is a fantastic problem to have, but it does mean I have to pick and choose very carefully what I put my time to. Because
there's Greek Memories of Azure on the 17th of August as well. That's a really cool game I've played a demo of. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but really nice. It's from Team 17, that one publishing.
Right.
There's literally so many. It is absolutely crazy. I've got like a list of July and August releases, and I could probably pull it up and let you know in a minute that I've written down the ones I want to try and focus on. But it's just crazy indeed, my friend. And then you're just looking at a certain small subset as well. But I'm wondering if that Greek Memories of Azure might actually come to Game Pass, because Going Under has just been announced for Game Pass, which is a Team 17 game again, and we've had Moving Out from Team 17, Overcooked in there as well in Game Pass. I think they could. I think they've got a good thing going.
Dare I say Worms Rumble very
there
recently
you go. So
also got announced.
That's one of the other ones that actually triggered that reason I totally forgot to mention. So I think it would definitely have a good chance, but it doesn't mean every single game is going in from Team 17, but they've got a good relationship going on there, that's for sure. But E3 has been a fun time, and the indie games have, like I say, I think they've done an amazing job. If you want to say it, I think they've won E3, if you want to be like that absolute about things. things. I mean, I think Game Pass has obviously come through as a worthy victor as well. That's for sure. It's done well, and Xbox have done amazing. Devolver have done absolutely awesome as always. I could have done with maybe another 15 minutes on top of it, but as we discussed when we did the live reaction, it's a very high production quality that they do, and they want it to be a concise experience. So it's, you know, fully scripted, but like it's almost like a mini movie. Like they got actors and stuff like that involved. So yeah, it's tough for them to make a long one, I would imagine. But yeah, the content in that Devolver Showcase was awesome. So was it in the Xbox, and we will dive into that in a minute. By the way, guys, what you're watching on the screen at the moment is from the Tribeca Indie Spotlight that I did a reaction of as well on the channel if you want to check it out. But if you didn't know, problemo, just to let you know where these games are coming from. Obviously, we've seen Kana, that's coming out in August as well. Don't know if you mentioned that a second ago, Puxley. It's coming out in 20th of August, Kana Bridge of Spirits, which I cannot wait for. Ridiculously amazing looking game that many people would mistake for a AAA game for the production quality, but it's just talent over production, baby. Talent over money, that's what I say. It's only like 15 people or something working on that game, which is bananas. But yeah, we're going to dive, like I say, later on, we're going to very soon after this topic, next topic that is, we're going to dive into the games that we've picked out as our you know, our favourites from E3, but I just wanted to go to a little sidestep other topic before we do that, if that's okay, guys, and that is to kind of just have a little chat about on the back end of E3 we had, you know, the Xbox demo event and the Steam demo event as well, and I do believe a fair few of us have dived into or dove into a lot of the demos, which is cool. So I just want to have a little chat about that. I think it's awesome that they've done it. It's good that Xbox have got on board again. They did it last summer and now they're carrying on. Steam have been doing that kind of thing for quite a while, so it's great to see consoles doing it as well. I just want to quickly, before I pass it over to any of you guys, I just want to say a quick hello to all the new people in the chat, because it means the world to see you in there. Thank you so much for joining us. I see Assassin Looper in there with her spanner at the ready. It's awesome to see you, Looper. Thank you very much for coming by. Once again, it's Timmy in there. We have got Caitlin in the house. Awesome to see you supporting a fellow Fun Speculation podcast, Export Ultimate podcast member. We're in Psychonauts, that is. Yeah, we have got Blue Moon FC, and there was a couple of comments actually that I did see. I saw one from who else? Yeah, so we've got Blue Moon FC, and we've got Shivs No Elite is still really dying to see Art of Rally on console. Hopefully we hear something soon, maybe at Gamescom or the Gay TGS. What am I thinking? I've gone brain dead on TGS. Is that game TGS? What's TGS, guys? I've lost it. But anyways, it's seeing it soon. Tokyo Game Show. Well played, my friend. Yeah, possibly. I think it won't be too long. I did say summer for the console releases. Yeah, I mean, he's been posting about the update recently on Art of Rally. I don't think the consoles will be that long. It is on sale at the moment, by the way, guys. There is a sale on Steam, a massive Steam sale going on, so pretty much every game is on sale, including Art of Rally. Yeah, that's 30% off at the moment, I do believe, if I can remember rightly. But yeah, yeah, and there was another one here. So Shizno Elite is on fire in the chat. He says indie games are where we get the best experiments and new gameplay mechanics. Publishers don't want to take a risk with AAA budgets. Absolute facts, my friend. Nailed that one. Well said, buddy. Yeah, it's so true. They are so risk averse. They don't, you know, it has to be tried and tested. You know, it has to be something that's done before so that they know that it's going to work. It's like a risk assessment at work, but in the game industry. It is sad. You know, indies are where all that innovation comes in. Facts, my friend. Well said. Yes, so and Blue Moon FC said something a little bit about palette cleansing. He said that he remembers me saying indie games are a great palette cleanser. So true. I think you said that, Indy. I believe that came up in one of our podcasts. I can't take full credit. I think I might have to give that to my man Jubei Sensei. He might have been the first to dub that, but then I've been saying it since. So yeah, shout out to Jubei Sensei when he was on. Palette cleanser, it definitely is true. You can, if you play AAAs, play in between. Maybe it's a little more relaxing experience. Obviously, I play a lot more indies, but you know, palette cleansers are for the win. And yeah, they are great to relax with for sure. There's so many different kinds of experiences nuances in indie games, which are from relaxing to dark and very very hard hitting at times because they have no restraints. There's all sorts, which I love. You get the diversity, and that's what it is all about. But yeah, Back from the Dead is also in the house. He played the Gear Shifters demo, which I also played as well, which was cool. I really enjoyed your stream, my friend. Keep up the good work. But thank you so much, everyone who is in the house with us today. It is awesome to see you. And yeah, so let's move on to this kind of Steam and Xbox demo event. Just have a little chat about that, and if there was anything you dived, I don't know if it's dived or dove into. Dived into? Let's go dived into. Dove into. I'm sorry, dove into. Let's go for it. Judzilla, my man, did you play any of these demos from the Xbox or the Steam demo event? And what do you think of the concept of them having these sort of showcases? There were 700 demos in the Steam event. How do you feel about that number? That kind of thing, my friend.
Well, to be fair, I only got to play 675 of controls. A little bit slack.
I love it.
No, honestly, it's the kind of thing we always used to get, back in the day when we used to get demos on magazines, on disc and things like that. I think it's a fantastic idea, especially for indies. As I say, it's the best way to get publicity is to put a demo out. I did play Tunic on the Xbox. That was awesome. Song of Iron. Grime is one I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. I played that as well. And the Far Too Short Omno demo, which is beautiful.
My man.
I love that. It just got to the bit where you're surfing around on the desert, and it's like, just let me play the next bit.
So good, isn't it?
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's got a great feeling, and the art style's really beautiful. And I like the message as well. He's got some humor that there. He's like, the demo's over. Can you just go about your business sort of thing? So.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. No, that's a fantastic
shout. They're all good, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see him. I mean, like I say, I alluded to it a minute ago, 700 demos. I kind of asked the question to Puxley a minute ago, this curated versus volume thing. Do you feel like they should maybe curate these demos? It's very hard because there's so many indie developers wanting to get into the spotlight. But the bigger the number, the harder it is for them to get noticed, I guess. How do you feel about that balance, my friend?
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, curating 700 games. I mean, that's a job in itself, and I think that's where the filters and things come in. You have to really drill down to what you're after. But I don't think they should be limited, curated by saying, "Oh, you can't be in the demo event." Someone might have made the demo and have it ready to go, and "Oh, I'm sorry, you've not made the cut." So I think it's down to us really to say, right, this is the sort of thing I'm looking for. Is it on demo? When I can download it, let's have a go. So I think keep it up, keep those sort of numbers going, and let people just use a bit of common sense and search out what they want to play. And shows like yours as well, we're on here hopefully going to give some good recommendations to people later as well. I mean, the demo's over now, so it's a bit late technically, but there you go.
Some of them stay on there actually though, so like the Omno demo is still available. It's a prologue.
I was playing it today, actually.
Oh, nice. He loves it. It's awesome. Well, I know who to call on if we manage to strike a developer interview, which I may have to do because I do love that game, and he seemed like a very nice guy when he dropped by in the chat the other day, didn't he? So I might have to ask him and try my luck and see if we can get him on for a little cheeky interview, and I know who to hit up then, and that'll be yourself, my friend.
I think the thing is, if you tell him that the trailer made you cry like the other trailer made you cry, I think you'll be okay.
That's my pitch now from now on. Just it made me cry. Well, actually, we are looking at right now at Harold Halibut, by the way, guys. Just had to say that. And this game, I'm so excited for. It's all handmade. We will talk about it a lot more in a bit because we're going to go through a lot of the games that we to be shown off. But this is the Tribeca showcase part of Harold Halibut. It's all been handmade. It's stop motion and then made into animation as well. So it's all photogrammetry. They make the models. Photogrammetry 360 degrees photos around it, and then they animate it, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And I just the trailer it gets the hairs on the back of my neck going. Honestly, this one really sets off my emotions. I don't know what it is, but I have to show you the trailer in full because it's the music and everything that comes together so well. I feel like they've put so much love into this game. I cannot wait for Harold Halibut. That's what you're looking at the screen, just in case, because I want to just bring attention to in case you're seeing something and you might like it and all that good stuff. But great shout there, Judsy, my friend. Just want to shout out to Fun Speculation in the house. The man is in the house. How are you doing, brother? It's always great to see you in. This again, supporting your man, Psychonauts. Also a pleasure to have him on the show today. Yeah, it's fantastic to have you here, buddy. We are talking some indie goodness, as you know. But thanks for coming by, buddy. So Meisuko, did you get a chance to try any of these demos on either Xbox or the Steam event? And how do you feel about that curation thing on Steam? When I'd be interested to hear how you feel about it. I think I'm leaning towards Judsy, but I know some people, actually one developer in particular who developed Falconeer, he actually was opposite to what you just said, Juds. He thought there should be curation in the 700 demos. It's all opinions, and there's no right or wrong thing there. I won't give too much on it because I want to hear Meisuko and everybody else's. How do you feel about 700 demos? Do you feel like that's too many for games to get lost in? Do you feel like they should maybe put some time into making a more condensed list, curating it essentially? And also, like Judd said as well, sorry, before I pass it over, Meisuko, Judd's also mentioned the search on Steam is actually very well done. You can really hone in on the style of game that you want to find. So that is a great point that you made there, Juds. It has to have great search. Like, you can really knuckle in on the actual it also shows games in your wish list. It shows all the roguelike genres, and you can really focus in on a kind of game that you'd be into. But yes, sorry, I'm rambling on. Meisuko, how did you feel about the demo events? Did you play anything? And how do you feel about the curation versus volume issue?
Yeah, so that has been a problem for Steam, or I don't know. Should it be considered as a problem in Steam? Because first they try to control a little bit what games are getting in, and it didn't work out that well. And now it's free flow, and for the demos it's pretty much the same thing. So those. Because Steam is very good with those tags, so it's good to find the type of game that you're looking for, and as long as there is some kind of easy sorting options for people who maybe don't know so much, they can maybe check the most popular ones, sort them out. I think that probably is good enough for most of the people, and not limiting it artificially.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're going from there. I mean, it's one thing as well, actually. Don't want to slag off Xbox or anything, but you brought this, actually, you said this probably more than myself, that is Xbox did not have anything to highlight the demo event on the homepage, did they? Is that correct?
It didn't make any sense to me, because last year they had the banner and they had the nice homepage for the indie demos. But this year there was nothing, and even the searching the demos, some had the ending this summer game, was it Fest or
Summer Next
anyway
Fest. Next Fest for Steam,
anyway, the acronym at the end of the demo. So that way you could find some of them, but not all of them had that one. So it was you had to check some website what is available, and then search the games that way. So I think it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's silly, really, isn't it? I mean, I'm not really sure what they did, because as you may have noticed, and I definitely noticed, Steam had the big banner on the very top of the homepage on Steam for a lot of the time, especially the whole of the first day it was there, and then it went away for one other sale, and then it came back again. Had a massive Steam Next Fest banner on the homepage. So Steam are really good at that sort of stuff, in my opinion. They do a great job of that. Xbox, I mean, it's good to see Xbox doing these demos, but they could do with a little push as well. Yeah.
So and another part, so I did try other games, and I will be talking about them later when we get to the game session, but there was one game, this Tunic, that you guys have been talking so much that there has been so many different demo iterations, so I had to try that one out.
Nice.
So yeah, the trailers look good and playing it feels even better. So I mean, I would say it's Nintendo quality how
Very
they
nice.
have made that game. Yeah.
But-
If it's not going to be a commercial success, I don't know.
You'd be surprised.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
It's got a lot of hype, which is fantastic to see. Did you play the first demo on Steam like last year? That demo?
No.
Okay.
This is actually the first time I tried
That's
it.
the first
so
one you tried it,
I have
cool.
been hearing you guys talking about the different versions of the
Yeah,
demos.
because
So.
I actually decided not to play this time just because of I don't know why. I just felt like I played the first demo, so I don't know. Playing 2 demos, I mean, I could have done it, I suppose, but I wanted to play other demos this time, and that's what I did, obviously. But yeah, I was just curious whether if someone played both, then it would be interesting to see the progression and stuff like that. But yeah. Def, that's awesome though. Tunic is looking fantastic. I'm glad to see so many people getting on board with that one. And that was only on Xbox as well, so that was one of the reasons I didn't play it as well. Because if it was on Steam as well, I would have maybe that would have influenced me to stream it or something like that. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like great choice in checking that out. Did any others you checked out at all, or was it just Tunic this time?
Yeah. So later I will talk about
Okay.
Sable and Lake and then this Death Trash. So
Death Trash
I
as well,
tried
cool.
those out. Yeah.
Nice, very good stuff, my friend. You want to save the goodness for later, save the little nugget of good.
Yeah. I'll try it a bit later. Yeah.
love it. That sounds great, buddy. But yeah, no, it's good to see these demos coming out and getting talked about and all that stuff. Yeah, so good stuff, buddy. That's fantastic. Let's move on to my man Psychonauts. I know he played. Actually, I did mean to ask you: are you a big fan of Psychonauts? This is a random, sidestep. But your name is Psychonauts. Or was that named after the game Psychonauts? Sorry to sidestep very majorly.
Oh no, well I do like Psychonauts, but
Yep.
no, the name came from it's a Greek meaning of like enlightened one, and so I'm Greek, so that's why I kind of went with that.
I love it. It's awesome, buddy. Sorry for the random question out of the blue there.
Oh, it's all good.
Should have asked that at the start. But yeah, so I know you did play some of these demos. I know you played Sable,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I think you may play a couple more. But yeah, how do you feel about the curation versus volume thing on Steam? I know you don't use Steam, but you still can get a perspective for that as an issue potentially. But also, yeah, which games did you play, and was there anything that stood out to you, buddy?
Yeah, I played mostly everything I was playing was on through the Xbox. So I like Masuka said, couldn't find the demos at first, but I just went through to where the demos were on the Xbox page.
Right.
And that's where I found all 40 titles that were in the that were announced for Xbox consoles. Yeah, and I downloaded. I played a bunch. I played Connect Tank, Tunic. I played Rift Breakers.
Oh, nice.
Trigger Witch.
I was going to try Rift Breaker on stream actually. Sorry to interrupt you. What was Rift Breaker like? It looks really good.
Oh, it is. It's fantastic. It's like a mixture of like RTS.
Yeah.
With like an action RPG style.
Yeah.
It's really
like
good.
a twin stick shooter style, isn't it? Almost as well mixed in there.
Yes.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which looks it's fantastic, clever thing because you'll appeal to both of those other audiences who play, say, strategy fans who will come in, and then twin stick shooter action fans will come in, and they won't mind the bit of it because of the mix. It's clever.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. I loved it, and I played it the demo 4 different times. It visually looks stunning.
Yeah,
because that's one of the titles that is going to be using the Fidelity FX tools. Nice. So it looks really good and it plays fantastic, and I loved it. I played Tunic. Tunic was great. Sable was good. The only thing that with Sable that wasn't a negative, but it was just I felt the character felt a little floaty when they were falling. It was like I wasn't like falling. It didn't feel like there was weight behind the
Yep.
character. But I mean, other than that, the game, the art of that game looked
Yeah.
fantastic. I loved it.
Amazing.
Connect Tank was kind of a fun little game. It's like you have to put these little conveyor belts together, and then take these material to make and craft bombs, so you can shoot the other tank that's coming at you. And so it's a fun little game. It's one of those that's
Sounds
you
good.
just want to kill some time and
Yep.
check it out.
That sounds cool, buddy. No, it's great. Good that you dived into. I have to work out dive someday. Dived into all of that goodness, my friend. Yeah, like I played Sable. I found that I don't want to keep slagging off, but I found the demo was. I felt it could have done with a bit more focus on the demo, if you see what I mean. I think the game is going to be wonderful. The art is absolutely stunning, music, and yeah, kind of like I say, I wish there was a bit more exploring in the demo rather than it being at the hub world. If you see what I mean, you get that. That's probably the same demo on the Xbox as well, I imagine. But yeah, was there how many demos would you say there were on Xbox out of interest? Did you get a vibe for that?
There were 40, and I downloaded probably 15, and I played about 7 or 8 of them, because there's so many games that came out, like Dark Alliance. That's another like indie title that's fantastic, and I really don't know why people are bashing that game, because that is fantastic with friends.
Nice.
And so there, so outside of that, I played as much as I could.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, you done well, my friend. So yeah, that's a good effort. Yeah, and it's good to jump into some kind of like, without any sort of restraint. You kind of just dive in and see what it's all about. That's what these events are really good for, because you can almost base it on, does this look? And I always say, actually, that's why it's good to have a good kind of like cover shot, almost like like back in the old days when you go in the shops and you would choose a game based on the cover art or whatever. It's kind of like this becomes that important again, because when you're looking through that demo list, you want to have a good sort of trailer, obviously, but also the initial image has got to pull you in, even if you're being completely fresh to it. So yeah, that stuff comes into play quite a bit. It's quite competitive in that way. But yeah, it's good to be able to just check it out based on any, based on all that. It seems like might be something for me. No, there's nothing to hold you back from just diving in. So that's great stuff, buddy. Yeah, so Puxley, buddy, did you get to check out any of these demos? I know you are a massively highly anticipated fan of Tunic. So I should have put that better. You are anticipating Tunic like nobody's business. You are super excited for that game, my friend, more than most people I know, I would say, and that's saying something, because a lot of people are excited for Tunic. So I think you did get a chance to jump on board after I made you jealous last time, I do believe, by playing it.
Yes, you did back in August last year. Yeah.
Yes.
One weekend I had a planned weekend away, and it was the only weekend when Tunic was on. I couldn't believe my luck.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Played,
so what did you think?
I did play that same original demo, and that got re-released earlier this year, and I did dive back into the new demo on Xbox.
Oh, cool.
And it was actually, okay, let me phrase it properly. I was going to say completely different. It's completely different in terms of how much there is to do and where you can go. And a lot of the main map area has also been remixed. I believe that's also the in-game words that they use.
Oh, okay.
Just so that you can get a bit more of a taster. So you still do the whole waking up on the beach part and climbing up those little bits of stairs. But then, there's like this pedestal you can go onto, and then you press the A button, and then there's this message in the nice, like the, do you remember the in-game, like, piece of paper that you can pick up that's got like the pictures of of the fox on it and the maps and
with
that kind of like really nice in-game like magazine, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly, like with the mysterious language and that on it.
Exactly, but I had one of those saying, "Oh, this is a demo. Thank you very much. Really, hope you enjoy it," kind of thing. It's a remix, and and I think also on Twitter, Finji also said that there are 6 like hidden coins or something that you should can try to find for no particular reason.
I think I saw that. Yeah,
so I had fun quite diving in a few times playing that as well.
Awesome. So was it living up to your expectation? And you saw the progression, did you? Would you say it's how? I mean,
oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, one of the new things they've added is a sprint function. So you press the A button to do like a dive, but then if you press and hold it, you do the dive, but then you go straight into a sprint, which doesn't actually. Well, it didn't in terms of the demo. It didn't take down your stamina. So you could arguably sprint indefinitely after the initial roll. So little things like that kind of really help speed up the exploration because there's more areas to go, and the default walk speed is kind of good when you're taking your time and enjoying looking at stuff. But when you're trying to go from A to B and you know where you want to go, like the walk speed can be a bit, oh, come on. I know you're a fox, but you can go a bit quicker than this, surely. But then, so added little things, little tweaks like that and additions like that, I think are very good quality of life improvements from what I could see. I think they definitely improved on the lock-on mechanics, and there were a few little weird glitches I had with the kind of evading. Like sometimes when you kind of press a sideways direction and try to dive away from an attack when locked in, it wouldn't always register, for me at least. But again, little things like that can be cleaned up in time. Plenty of time left for it. I mean, there's no release date, so they've got all the time in the world so far.
Yeah. Did you get an impression of how far into the... it's very hard to tell because it could be a slice of the game which is almost done pretty much, or it could be like they're doing it like across the board or whatever, different ways of developing, I guess. I'm not sure, you probably know better. Did you get any impression of how far into development it is and how far away from release it is?
Well, as I say, at the beginning they have like this in-game message to say that that we've kind of remixed parts together so you can get a slice of a few different kind of new areas and current ones.
Right.
But, yeah, honestly, I don't feel it's coming out anytime soon. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'd like to think I'm wrong, but I just get the vibe that it very much has that whole, it'll be ready when it's ready kind of thing, which is, for the most part in an indie game, it's a very good mindset. But then my worry is that for the large part of a fan base which are looking forward to it, may eventually, I don't want to say give up, but like the hype, it does wane after a while. If you get what I mean, when you're waiting for something for so long and there's so much new stuff coming out, that it's quite easy, I think, especially now when, as we, as the whole topic's about, 700 odd game demos on Steam. I mean, that's too much, right?
Yeah, it does kind of feel a bit like that at the moment. There's so much going on, really. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. It's just if it's going to keep going, getting worse and worse, or like better and better in a way. But like, because there's so much, it's going to grow and grow. There's going to be more and more in a way. How many more words can I say twice in a row? Is the question.
I think this is one of the kind of problems within the indie dev space anyway, isn't it? The whole discoverability issue.
Yes.
And, events like this, in my opinion, are meant to be highlighting the indie games which, how do I say this, show promise, I suppose might be a way to word it, because, there's so many games out there, arguably, yes, they are indie games, but a lot of games that you see released on Steam for, 80p or something like that, or, $1, are arguably mainly people just practicing and learning for themselves. So, they officially come up on the Steam stats to say that, this month there were 1,200 indie games, released, and how are you going to compete with that? And it's like, well, but you're not really competing with that many, are you? Because, as I just said, a lot of people put stuff online, just for fun, little fan projects, personal projects, not necessarily looking to become big. A lot of people just do it literally for that sole part-time enjoyment, things that they do in their spare time. I'll get a couple of quid from it here and there. If people buy it, that's great, but you're not competing with that. But then when you've got 700 plus games of varying quality, it can be, that does need to be some curation, I would argue. And especially this is when the whole marketing side of things comes into play and shows its kind of significance in the indie space, because you could have one of the best games ever in terms of gameplay, but if your thumbnail is not quite up to scratch, or if your trailer is just not quite showing enough, you might be, because there's a few Kickstarters I've seen recently for games which, they look okay, but then most of the trailer is like the solo dev talking about the game rather than just showing the content, which, time is precious for a lot of people, to the point where, people don't want to sift through a 5-minute video looking for that 30-second gameplay. That should be the first thing, and if arguably the only thing you should be showing, and a few words here and there as to what you're watching and what you can expect. And it's little things like that which I think a lot of indie devs can do wrong, and I think this has been discussed in quite a lot of detail in various articles and stuff. So I think that's where the curation can kind of begin, because gameplay can be good, but if you haven't got a demo ready and you're just relying on a thumbnail and a trailer, then I think more needs to be done from someone like Steam, or even like the bigger boys, like Xbox, for example, that they promote their indies, the idea Xbox stuff, and I know we didn't have that this year, but they had the massive scissor reels, and indies were actually arguably part of their main showcase, which was great to see.
Yeah, it's weird that they uploaded, because they did upload a sizzle reel on Twitter. Did you see that one, or?
Yes, I did.
It's weird that they left that out of the show. Why wouldn't you just put a 3-minute sizzle reel into the show? Would you say?
It doesn't make sense at all, does it?
No.
But another thing as well, I believe Psychonauts and Mexico said it. Mexico said about how well or how poorly these demos were advertised on the Xbox platform. So for me, I was expecting to see like a massive banner on the Microsoft Store on the console to say, "Hey, look, this is where all the demos are. Check them out now before they disappear on the 22nd, or whatever it was."
Yeah, basically just
there
like
was nothing
Steam,
like that at all. Like, I had to manually go to the demo section, which is where all the normal demos are, which are there forever, and eventually scroll down to the one, to these new ones that I'm interested in. And it was only when I saw, I think it was Mr. Boomstick XL on Twitter had said, "Hey, look, I've just downloaded the Tunic demo," and I'm there like,
yeah,
what? I've not seen any advertisement for this. And then
it's crazy.
I knew they were coming, but they weren't put on the forefront of the store, which really kind of baffled me.
I don't know why they wouldn't do that. They just do what Steam done, and it would be fantastic. Maybe it's because they charge a lot, people for that space or something. I mean, it's marketing space essentially, and it's
Steam's $100 to sign up, isn't it? Which it's not cheap.
Oh, is it 100? Sorry, it's $100 for
to sign up to become a Steam developer, I believe. Unless that's changed,
okay.
But it was. But I believe that was also that. Obviously, before that was Greenlight, and I think Greenlight.
Yep.
I mean, I know they had its problems. A lot of people getting potentially wrongly denied, I guess. But then that's arguable as well. I get depending on which way you look at it, but. Yeah. That kind of did what we're all talking about, right? That was the curation kind of management of, does this look good enough, or are you just trying to rip people off with garbage? It was meant to have, it was a kind of a barrier to, you need to meet a minimum level of our quality standard to be put onto the store, which makes sense, right? But then, Steam, they're not the only ones guilty of this. You could argue that I think all the main platform holders on console are. They all claim to have this quality standard, but then when you go through this, the depths of the store, there are, no disrespect, but there's a lot of trash on there as well as the good stuff. And sometimes you can lose good stuff within the trash, right?
Yeah.
So something needs to be done. But then I think the indie space is growing.
I think Steam, because Steam's got a very good review system that helps after sale, it's
That's
been.
A good point, yeah.
So that helps to really identify, and I've always think the Steam review system's, very good. I think in general Steam's community features are way above anyone else's, really. I think that's a lot of the reason why a lot of people don't want to stray away from Steam as well. They haven't even got a review system on Epic Games Store, have they? I don't think.
They don't yet, I believe. I know people have been kicking the bucket for one since Epic Games Store's launch, but that's still yet to come, which is a shame. Especially when they've got this massive initiative, with the free games every month kind of thing, and that's obviously their way to try to get people to move to Epic Games. But if it takes you too long to try to find the thing you're looking for, or to discover new things by basing it on genuine user reviews, then that is a problem to be solved. Because I think you look at any indie game and say, oh, it's got 100% positive score, but it's only got 2 reviews. So how accurate is that? But then when something's got 500 plus, for example, and it's mostly positive, you think, you know what? Actually, that's probably worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. They do. I think Steam do try. I think they do well, to be honest, for the amount of games that are on there, because they have a lot of algorithms in play. Like they've got like new and trending or whatever, haven't they? And they've got I can't remember all the ones they have, but there's different ways of filtering in a lot of ways on Steam, and there's coming soon, and there's brand new. I can't even remember the names of them on Steam, but there's a lot of different filtering methods which make it able to sort for games and stuff. I feel like they know there's they know we've got a shit ton of games on this store basically. So they are trying, I think, but I kind of like that way. I feel like it's Sorry, go on.
Sorry to interrupt, but what you were just about to say, I think that's the other side of the coin in the good way. In that, by having this kind of open platform, that yes, you pay a dev fee, and then yes, you're free to post. Then this is where you can find your unlikely next blockbuster game. I mean, look at Among Us, right? I mean, this came out in 2018 to pretty much no real visibility apart from the few that maybe played it, and then a few more bigger streamers discovered it, started streaming it, and then it blew up, and people realized how massive this game was. So I think it's a good example of how things can get buried. But equally, if that openness wasn't there in the first place for indies to post on, then it wouldn't have been discovered at all. Do you get what I mean? So it's this weird mixture of, I don't know which, I can't really agree of one way or the other. I'll kind of sit in the middle, because I can see, yes, we need a curation system because of X, Y, Z. But then when you kind of become lax on that a bit, and you actually allow a bit more freedom, and then sometimes what Steam might not quite see as appealing or of quality actually ends up being a big hit. I mean, Among Us arguably is pretty basic in its art style. It's good. It fits the dynamic of the game.
Concept is the key in that game, isn't it?
Exactly. I'd argue it's not polished in terms of how it looks, but it works, and people love it for that. And that's kind of what I think Steam is great for.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's nice that anyone can kind of get the game on there into Steam, and then I know it sounds like a bit like fanciful or whatever, but if your game is good, I think in the end of the day it will rise up, and then people will discover it, and then the snowball effect will take place. But it doesn't always happen. But I think a lot of the time, if someone discovers it, and then shares it on their channel, I know that's it's different kinds of methods to get there, because they're not able to spend loads of money on it, marketing and stuff. But it's kind of if they can get it into the hands of a few kind of like channels and stuff like that who are going to stream it, and then that they've just got to reach out to a lot of people and stuff, and do that grassroots kind of marketing, if you see what I mean.
Oh, definitely. And this is where things like Twitter come into play, right? I mean,
exactly.
I mean, I think even from a podcasting point of view, building a Twitter presence can be ridiculously difficult, and you're sitting there competing against every other game dev out there that's given themselves a studio name behind a Twitter handle, and competing for the spotlight. And I've seen loads of titles I've been following for a while on Twitter, which are now going to Kickstarter. They're and some of them I believe were actually shown as part of the Future Game Show and stuff. So pushing for things like Twitter, it's proof that it does work, but it's a massive grind, I think, for indies, and I think that's what a lot of indies kind of don't quite anticipate as strongly as they should. But then again, how can you? Because if you've not done it before, you're not ready to know, right? It's a whole massive learning process. It's just how you go about doing it, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's key that I think if they can afford it or whatever, is to get like someone on the community side of things, to manage their community or whatever, unless they are willing to do that as well, because that's another thing to manage at the same time as making the game. And yeah, like if they can get that can help them, like a PR company or whatever. But yeah, like it's tricky. It's a tricky thing for indies, but that's why we're here, guys. And we are here to help. I
realised we derailed quite a bit, because originally you just asked me what demos have I played. So sorry about that.
That's all good. It's good conversation, buddy. I loved it. It's a great one to come back to always, isn't it? It's a interesting thing. Once again, you're checking out the Tribeca on the screen, guys. Tribeca Spotlight. This is Kina, and this is the recent gameplay reveal. There's actually been a few other videos that have gone out which look amazing. I swear this game looks absolutely stunning. The gameplay in it, I've seen a preview gone out, I think, to a few bigger channels and stuff who've checked it out, and this game looks amazing. I cannot wait for it. But yeah, that was awesome, guys. I think we should probably get cracking onto the main topic, essentially, which is our sort of best indie games of E3 2021. We have done a selection. We have picked out some games of our own ahead of time, so we're going to dive in to some of that goodness. I'm going to try and bring up the trailers as we go through them, so you guys have a visual aspect as well as what we talk about. But yeah, we're going to just go through some of our games that we kind of enjoyed over the whole E3 period, not necessarily specifically restricted to actual E3 shows. Obviously those are included as well, like the Devolver show was actually named as a Summer Game Fest show, I believe. So again, it gets a bit technical. Like, I mean, I'm classing Devolver as an E3 show, obviously, even though it was listed under Summer Game Fest. podcast. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to go in future, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, like obviously Xbox was and you know, we had like the Tribeca show, and you know, Wholesome Direct, Guerrilla Collective, Devolver, all the good stuff, yeah, as you know. But we'll be diving into some of those right now. We've picked some out. I'll bring up the trailers as we go, so hopefully we'll have some visual aspect to that too, as I say. But just before we do jump into that, I just want to say thank you so much everyone who is hanging out with us for this. We're here to celebrate indie games, and it's amazing to see you guys in. We love bringing the community together to chat indie games and just enjoy the fruits of what they're all about, because I absolutely adore them myself. As you may have noticed, I name myself the Indie Gamer. So that probably explains it. But I want to shout out a few of you guys I've seen come into the chat there. It's awesome to see you guys. Assassin Looper, I love indies, back in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Love your channel, my friend. Once again, you've put it on your sleeve as well, my friend, so respect. You love indies. And Blue Moon FC is still hanging with us. Thank you very much for being here, my friend. Flame has dropped by. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Awesome to see you. Lady Foxfire is back in the house, and she says that she loves all the games coming with foxes in them. Now, I did not guess that one. Actually, I did. But yeah, that is awesome to see you, Lady Foxfire. Thank you so much for being here. Love what you do on your channel as well. Yeah, there's some really cool games with foxes coming, actually. So you're in a good place right now for that. We've got like Tunic, obviously, but like I mentioned a minute ago, Endling is looking really fantastic. You may want to check that one out. I believe one of the picks from one of the guys actually is Trifox, and we'll be looking into that in a minute. I've spoiled that now, but Trifox looks pretty cool if you want to check that out as well. So yeah, and there's a bunch more which I'm forgetting right now, but yeah, awesome to see you in. Thank you so much everyone who's hanging out for this show. If you fancy it and you feel like you got a few seconds, it would be much appreciated if you feel free to share this out. It would mean a lot. Giving the share and getting some more awesome people in would mean the world, but no worries if not. And if you feel like hitting that like button, that would mean a lot too. But thank you so much for being here either way, guys. Let's jump into our best indie games of E3 2021, of the full sort of season. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll go I don't know how we'll do this. Maybe we should just start off by going one from each, and we'll see how that goes, shall we? And yeah, we're going to start off with my main man, Juds. Let's get into some of your picks, my friend.
No problem. Okay, mate, we're going to see how much of a video swapping ninja you are now, please.
We are going to see that. It's going to be interesting.
This is going to be fun. I mean, if you've got spreadsheets for indie games, I think you've already got an issue. That's, it's more like work at this point.
Yeah, a problem, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to put Indie Gamers Anonymous or something. So my first pick, mate, is going to be Trek to Yomi.
Trek to Yomi.
Yeah, I'm going to sell people on Grime later as well if they've not heard of that. But we'll come to that.
Very
I'm going
nice.
to try and stall a bit until you get the video in.
That's cool. Trek to Yomi would have been one of mine, my friend. That is an awesome pick. That was the one at the that was at the Devolver, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a Devolver Digital Showcase. It's by Flying Wild Hog, who did Shadow Warrior and Shadow Warrior 2, which I recently finished. Fantastic. It's the thing that struck me about this game. It's the art style. It's all black and white. It's like a really beautiful kind of a mix between really nice art style and gore, basically, because you go around stabbing people and things. So you got a nice mix in there.
Good little mix.
But it's kind of kind of a it's a pretty sort of standard story, I guess, where this guy's got to defend the honor of his town, against threats and things. So he goes out basically to defend the honor of his town. But it looks absolutely fantastic. The gaming, the mechanics of the game look really good as well.
Definitely.
And as you can see on this, it's just so it looks AAA, and this is the kind of thing that an indie game is really known for, because this looks AAA, but it's not the sort of standard sort of thing you would get from a AAA studio normally. The only issue I have with this is not out until 2022. but it looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
So
it's fresh reveal, so it's not too far off of the old, you know, like this year really a reveal. I believe that was the first time it got revealed, wasn't it? So, but yeah, like Wild Flying Hog, I always get the name wrong. They are pretty on fire, aren't they? Really, to say the least. I mean, you know, they've got Shadow Warrior as well, haven't they? Like you say, two games looking on fire, aren't they?
That's a fantastic pedigree, and if you look at Shadow Warrior 3, which could have easily made any of the lists, the most difficult thing about this was narrowing it down to, you know, just a few games, but Shadow Warrior 3 looks absolutely insane. I can't wait for it.
Nice, yeah.
But this is so different to Shadow Warrior. Yeah, I love it. It looks absolutely beautiful. So
nice.
I'll leave it there, and you can move on to one of the other guys.
I think that is a magnificent pick, my friend, because yeah, that would have been one of mine because it looks so wonderful. It's interesting that it's all in black and white as well. But yeah, it just like when I first watched the trailer, when we were doing the live reaction, I didn't kind of clock onto it straight away. I mean, I watched it and then I didn't kind of see the gameplay straight away because I was sort of looking elsewhere. And then when I watched it back, I was like, oh yeah, that gameplay, like it's kind of like the 3D world with on the 2D plane gameplay kind of thing. Like I think it was Luke Still that said kind of like Song of Iron comparison, and yeah, definitely got that. And yeah, both looking good, those games. And I'm well sold by Trek to Yomi and cannot wait for it. And definitely, by the way, guys in the chat, I'd love to hear what some of your one of your like most anticipated or your favorite reveals, or what your favorite games shown of the indie variety over the E3 period are. Definitely hit us up in the chat. Sorry, I forgot what it was called then. Hit us up in the chat and we will definitely read out your favorite indies over the E3 period. We'd love to hear them. But yes, great choice to kick things off there, Juds. And I wasn't too slow at getting it up, I think.
Could you rephrase that, please? Because just rephrase it.
What was that? Sorry.
Never mind.
Oh my God, I've just heard it.
I got it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Have you got an 18 rating on this?
You know
podcast?
you love it, though. You know.
Not from you, my friend. Not from you.
Yeah. It's in your head, not mine, my friend. I was just innocent, I'm afraid.
So I called that
lower the tone.
I called that game Road to 69 earlier. I think I've got a problem with these thoughts going on.
Yeah, a little gemstone, aren't you? Wow. Totally taking the tone down. Love it. I love it. It's brilliant pick. And I got the trailer into the screen instead of saying what I just said a minute ago. Anyway, I'm going to stop celebrating about that because let's get this rolling, and we're going to move on to my man Meisuko next with his first pick for an indie game that was shown over the E3 period.
Yes, so I was thinking we could start with Sable since you have also experience with that one, so that one would be a good start for us.
That sounds delightful, sir. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the first thing I want to say about that game is that the trailers look good, but when you see it in the real life, you really see how sharp the line work is with this game. So it really looks like a comic book came into life. Like there
really,
has been So there has been during the years many of this kind of comic style games, and but not always the line works so well. It almost looks like I would say a filter, or it doesn't look like it's fully made into this style. But this one, I think they have spent a lot of time making this art and making it very clean looking, and this comic style that there isn't that many how would I say, gradation in the colors, but it's more like, okay, here we have one color, here we have another, so it's very pleasing for the eyes, I would say. And so like Indy, did you have a lot of troubles with the controls, like while you were playing, or was that side of the game okay for you? How did you feel?
Yeah, that's a good question. I felt the controls were okay actually for me. It was more about kind of I just felt like their demo was kind of more focused around. It was sort of. I don't know. I kind of found the controls were okay. I don't know. Psychonaut said it was a bit floaty on the jump and stuff. I personally found them okay, really. Apart from the one control which I did mention on the stream, which was
running.
the sprint thing. That was the only one. Yeah. So if you hold down sprint, you can't change the camera view because you're using your thumb on the right. So that was the only thing. I think that maybe that was what you were potentially thinking of there. So yeah, if I hold down
No. I was just bringing it up because
generally.
I have seen like other people's have been complaining a little bit their controls that they are not so sharp and so on. But for me, it felt pretty okay. Like similar
cool.
like other like 3D behind the character games.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I didn't see any problems in that side of the game.
Cool.
But one problem for me, or not a huge problem, but like how the dialogue works in this game. Like
Yeah. It plays quite a key role, doesn't it? The dialogue.
yeah, it's important and it works. It serves the purpose, but I don't feel like it's like a big plus point in this game. The good things, yeah.
Because I kind of, and this is just a preconception of what the game won't be. I thought it might be more of an environmental storytelling kind of game, if you see what I mean. But there's quite a lot of actual dialogue in the game, which kind of took me by surprise in a way, which is totally cool.
Yeah.
But I thought, like I say, it might be more environmental storytelling and it more just exploration focus. But yeah, that's just on me and my expectations in a way. But I did absolutely love it. And but yeah, that control thing was a little bit annoying. So when you hold down B, I think it might have been to sprint. And you can't then use the right stick to move the camera to steer when you're running around the corner or something, if you see what I mean. So that was a bit of a strange choice to put that there. So I would like to be able to remap that, or them can reconsider that potentially, but that's down to them. I'm sure they thought that through. But yes, but as an artist, my friend, this game has got to be that's got to be one of the reasons you're absolutely loving it. The artistry in the game is amazing.
Yes, it is really good. And talking about the artistry, so I checked, like I told you earlier, I had to go back and listen again fully, because there was so much going on with these shows. So actually there was many important points that I missed out during the shows. So they were telling about this Sable, the team was telling that they were actually educated as architects, both of them. Yeah, so that brings this kind of interesting point to the game, like that they really are creating these huge monuments, and they have the education to make this kind of monuments. And I think it's a really good skill or point of view how to think about creating words and these monuments and structures, and I think it really shows well.
Yeah, definitely. And, that's a great shout, because some quite amazing architectural like temples and stuff in the game as well, isn't there? So that brings that element which they have in there. It does look amazing. I think I'm just hoping there's quite a bit of exploration out in the, alone discovering these amazing sort of these temples and things like that. Kind of like I was thinking it would be like Journey. So if you've played Journey, that was what I kind of hoped from.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
That's exactly what I also felt like, that the dialogue would be pushed to the background and there would be more of this kind of image or some kind of icons or something very simple to guide the player. And one point about the game was that it's pretty crazy that it's only 2 guys and they don't have previous game development experience, and they have been working on this like 6 years.
It's amazing. These
are huge huge projects for so few people.
I love it. Yeah, it's so often a case as well. Like again, I think another one of your picks. I won't ruin your other picks, but there's another one where I think it's their first game, and the artistry in that game is absolutely stunning. But yeah, like you often see these it's their first game, and like they've just gone straight into it, and it's absolutely amazing what they're doing with it. It's an amazing thing. Obviously, not always the case, but you know, often it can be. And we love to celebrate those kind of ones like Sable. I think Sable's going to be a fantastic game. Don't get me wrong, and I feel like you feel that too. But I just feel like
definitely.
we were kind of thinking it was going to be slightly different, more journey like. So yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes you only find it out when you play the demo or the real full game. So
Yeah.
of
exactly.
course, it's very good that we get this impression already early on, and maybe in the full game, let's say when we get this tutorial area finished,
Yeah.
that most of the rest of the game is more like not so much hand holding and not
Yes.
so much of dialogue.
That's exactly it.
So
Well
let's
said.
hope so.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. That's exactly what I'm thinking too. So yeah, brilliant stuff. Great pick though. And
And one thing, so I just wanted to give a shout out that this was actually developed in UK. So
yeah.
shout out to all of our UK people here in the chat.
Yeah, UK for the win.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's good. Great shout out, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, great pick there, my friend. And yeah, we're going to be whipping around. This is going good. It's going good. Let's move on to my man Psychonauts. Before we get yours, my friend, I just want to say, yeah, that is pretty obvious anyway, guys, but get those wish lists open. Get your wish list page open if you want to wish list any as you go. The developers, obviously they will adore you. It really does help them out though, guys. If you wish list these games on Steam and stuff like that, it can really help them. As we were just discussing, there's so many games on Steam and stuff like that, and other platforms too. Sometimes it doesn't appear on the other stores as early, but Steam, you'll always find a game ahead of launch. So yeah, give them a wish list, even if you're not going to buy it on Steam, and you can track the game's progress and stuff like that, and it really helps them rise up in the algorithms in a very competitive market. So yeah, feel free to get that, even if you haven't got like I say, if you're not going to purchase it on Steam, can track it on there and look up the game and just use it as a platform to follow games. That's what I did before I got a PC actually. So but yeah, if you don't want to do that, that's no problem at all. Just to let you know, I thought it was hard to say that. But thank you very much for being here. Absolutely awesome to have you all here. Let's move into my man Psychonauts with his first pick then.
Oh yeah, now this game actually took all of us by surprise on the panel when we saw it on the Xbox showcase, and that's Replaced. When we saw that, it kind of blew us away. Visually, it gives you that pixelated look, but also the environment looked almost realistic. So it was like a great combination of stunning visuals and that old school 16-bit style graphics.
Definite.
Yeah, I mean it's a they call it a 2.5D sci-fi retro future action platformer where you're an AI trapped in a human's body against your will, and it's a cinematic platformer, free-flowing action, and set place in like an alternative 1980s where you have to research and go around and uncover the mysteries in like Phoenix City. Definitely a great game. I love it. As you guys can see in the video, it just looks so good.
Absolutely epic. Yeah, this would have definitely been again one of my picks. It's a fantastic pick, brother. When this came on, I thought for about like 2 seconds, I thought, is this going to be Last Night? Don't know if you know the Last Night.
Yeah, that's what we said. That's what Pong and I think Mav said. Like, is this Last Night?
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's another beautiful game in that vibe though, which is fantastic. Because the Last Night looks incredible and is still on the way very much so. But this game looks so good. This was definitely one of my games of the show for sure as well, buddy. 2.5D pixel art with the amazing lighting going on and such a cool aesthetic. But yeah, it's loving it. Yeah, so is this up your street very much then, my friend?
Oh yeah, I like these type of games. They're just the art style and how the story kind of like I liked Katana Zero.
Oh, nice.
And these games just like really appeal to me because they're fun, and you know they're not AAA, but to me, I mean, as long as the game's fun, I'm all about it. That's and a lot of the indie games are very, very well made and they're great.
Absolutely, yeah. They have a soul as well. So
Exactly.
It's true, though, isn't it? Sorry, I will take any chance to take a swipe at the AAAs.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, that is a great pick, my friend. A lot of love coming from the chat for Replaced as well, which is fantastic. And yeah, Replaced was a lovely surprise from I Love Indies there. And yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely one of my picks of the show. It's really stood out. I think it's got that edginess about it.
Yes.
I love the way the kind of the camera is quite far away, and you get a lot of depth in the environment. You can sort of really see quite sort of like what's going on in a sort of like, it's got like sort of like that depth of field effect going on, and like I love the depth of it all. It's looking stunning, and obviously those kind of like cyberpunkish vibes are awesome. And this character looks like a total badass. So
Oh, totally. And in all my picks, all these games are coming into Game Pass, so that's like that's another plus. So.
Absolutely, yeah. This one will be in Game Pass day one. So pretty damn awesome. Yeah, Replaced, looking epic. Great choice, buddy. And the really funny thing that I thought about it was it's being published by Coatsink, which are usually quite I don't know if any of you guys sort of familiar with what they do, but they don't usually do sort of like gritty, hard hitting kind of games like this one. They're kind of usually a bit more like they've done Cake Bash, I don't know if you know that game, which is kind of like a party game, and it's like 4-player party game where you could like you can be like a cupcake and stuff like that. I've played it on the channel, actually. It's really fun. I don't know if you know that one, but yeah, they usually do sort of cutesy kind of vibed games. This is a bit more edgy. It's a bit like when Team 17 done Blasphemous. They usually do kind of bit more cutesy-ish like vibes, Team 17, but they've done Blasphemous, and that's a bit more edgy. So it's kind of, this is a sort of one that's a bit out of their usual box, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's fantastic, buddy. Well played, sir. Let's move on to Puxley's first pick then, shall we?
Sure thing. Mine's not going to be the first on my list. I'm going to start with one which I think may have gone under a lot of people's radar, but I have actually seen someone say it in the chat, so I'm pleased that someone knows about it. And it was revealed during the Day of the Devs, if I remember correctly. And this is a game called Tome, or Toem, how we pronounce it. I believe it's Tome. I'm going to stick with that one.
Good stuff, bud.
Taglined as a photo adventure. This kind of looks like a nice, like it's like a black and white, simple artistic style. You kind of go around having to take pictures of the environment and of different things to uncover the mysteries of the magical tome. Is their tagline for it. And what got me immediately was I love the 2D characters in the 3D world. I really like the fixed camera as well.
Yep.
It really kind of makes the environments pop. Especially, it's almost like a small diorama that you're walking around in, like these small little dioramas, and you're constantly moving from location to location. And for such it's always easy to say that it's a simple art style, but the simplest things never come easily, if that makes sense when it comes to these things. I can only imagine this probably went through a lot of iterations before they nailed down this particular style they wanted. But
yeah.
I just love how, given how simple it all looks, it all just connects together so well. I like how everything seems to...
Oh,
what was that?
I don't know.
Oh,
Is that someone's phone? Or...
yeah, sorry.
That's right, no worries.
I just like how everything seems to bounce. Everything seems to have a bit of life into it, like on the screen now, at least how I'm seeing it. Even the little radio on the table, it's just kind of physically moving up and down because it's playing music. All the characters bounce with excitement. And again, it's strange because you'd think a black and white adventure, you might not necessarily think it has so much life or kind of vibrance to it, if that makes sense. But
Definitely.
If anything, without the colour, it looks more vibrant than I think it would do with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's amazing. As someone who's worked in photography, it's amazing how many different styles of black and white there actually are. That this has got a real nice pop to it, and it's got a nice energy to it. Definitely.
And it almost kind of reminds me of I can't remember the full title of it, but it's a game. Is it called Alba? When you control like a small girl going around with like a smartphone taking pictures, it kind of gives me that kind of vibe.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not sure to be. I can't confirm completely on that, but yeah, like the camera. There's a few games actually coming that's got that sort of like take photos vibe. There's another one I think that Assassin Loop is looking forward to. We saw on one of the showcases that I can't remember, but yeah, the photo based stuff is pretty cool. Yeah, it looks really interesting. Do you think you feeling some relaxing vibes from this, or what's?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the art style really draws me in, but then just
Yep.
looking at the gameplay as well, it's nice to see something different.
Yes, exactly.
You know, I think the large majority of us, or if not all of us, are probably so used to playing a game where you're shooting something or jumping on a character's head, and you know you're getting from A to B, getting to a goal with bloodshed in your way, which you know is all great fun. But again, you wouldn't see anything like this done from a bigger studio, I would argue. So it's great to see something just looks so vibrant. I keep saying that word, but it just looks so. It's nicely animated. It's so simple, yet it's got that detail to it. It's got like those small little those small little bouts of polish, just here and there in the right places, which just make it pop.
Definite. I think it's those
really drawing me
animations
in.
are nicely done, aren't they? They really kind of like they make it come alive for sure. It's amazing. Animations can really sell something as well. But yeah, I'm definitely digging what it's about, and I always love your picks because they've always got that sort of. You go for something a little bit outside the box. It's not always about blowing people's heads off, is it? You know what I mean? It's nice.
I mean, we all love doing that.
We all love doing that as well, of
I'm
course.
going for something a bit different.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, that was a fantastic pick there, Puxley buddy. As always, a great take and great pick. Yes, so we're going to whip round again because we've got quite a few more to get through. So we're going to go back to my man Judsy baby and see what you've got for us next, my friend.
No worries. Okay, so my next one is called Grime, and
Lovely.
I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell this to the people. Okay, if you haven't seen this game, this is a sales pitch. If you like Hollow Knight, and you know who H.R. Geiger is, who did that sort of alien artwork, this is like that kind of style in a Hollow Knight kind of game mechanic, which also brings some of its visual effects. If you think of some of the things they do in Ori, like the depth of field and the parallax scrolling and things like that. And the tagline for the game is destroy, absorb, grow, which is pretty much how I spent lockdown, to be honest with you. But it's an action adventure RPG, and you run around basically. At the start, you don't have any powers. You know, you're just this dude with a glowing head. I can't really describe it until you see it, to be fair. But you have these weapons that mutate, and then they take on different powers and stuff. And you actually absorb energy from the enemies. So when they come to strike you, you can absorb them by doing this little move, and it gets you more powerful. Now, I played this demo as part of, I can't remember where it was first shown, to be honest with you, but it was on Steam. And I played this. It's out in 2021.
When we saw it recently, was at the Guerrilla Collective. Is that what you were thinking, or before that? Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right, mate. It's there on the left. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it, which is fantastic viewing. Guerrilla Collective, yeah, that's where I first saw this, and
Cool.
I thought this looks awesome. So, yeah, I'm very excited for this. It's coming in 2021, but I don't think there's a release date yet. But yeah, I think anyone that's a fan of Hollow Knight style, there was quite a few things that were very similar actually to the way you sort of progress through the levels and open up different areas. But
Nice,
as you can
yeah.
see from the pictures, the graphics and stuff, and the depth of field effects are just beautiful. So it's another fantastic looking indie game, and I can't wait for this one. So hopefully,
Definitely. Sorry about
I've sold Luther.
Yeah,
There we go.
If you like Metroidvania, yeah, it's a Metroidvania, isn't it? That's what I believe they said, haven't you? So yeah, yeah, we do love our Metroidvania. Well, I do anyway. And yeah, it's got a very unusual art style to it, which is quite a dark sort of grimy, might I say? Art style. Sorry about the slowness getting that up. Actually, I realised that one wasn't. I didn't have that downloaded for some reason, so I had to do a bit of a scramble there. I do apologise. You did change yours, didn't you? Like you said you were going to. No, it's my fault.
Try and keep you on your toes.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's looking cool, man. So you played the demo of it, you say, and how did the mechanics feel? It felt like it's quite hard to sort of sell a Metroidvania in a demo, I guess, because it's all about that leveling system and the backtracking and all that malarkey, isn't it? So, but how did the actual kind of like combat feel in it? Did it feel nice?
It felt really good, actually. I mean, there were some problems with the controls, like I changed some of the controls, like left bumper and things, using Xbox control on the PC, and it didn't pick up that I changed it, so you still had to use the ones it had as default. It's a demo, so you're going to expect that sort of thing. But the actual mechanics of the game and the way it flowed, the character movement, the way he absorbs things and then attacks the enemies, I think it's going to be a lot better. The stuff you're seeing on screen obviously wasn't in the demo, this far down.
Right. Yeah.
And it looks pretty deep as well. There's RPG elements in there as well. You can level up the character and things like that. But it felt really good to play, and I think this is going to be a really successful game for 2021 for sure. Nice,
bro. That's fantastic. Great stuff, and a great pick there, my friend. Yeah, definitely one for the fans of kind of a darker tone to games as well, I would say. So maybe someone like Removable Sanity might be into this kind of vibe, I do believe. Just a random pick there, but I know he likes kind of like this kind of darker stuff. But yeah, definitely a great pick. Let's move on to Meisuko, and hopefully I will have the trailer lined up this time. Yeah, what's your next pick, Meisuko, buddy?
Yeah, so I wanted to mention Behind the Frame. So this,
nice.
Yeah, so background info. This is a game coming from Taiwan, and they have a eight-person team working on it. And this is very much Studio Ghibli inspired art style.
Nice.
You can see it right away when you see this. And I think that this game had the least information available, so they might be quite in the beginning of the development of this game. So they had some information, but not that much. And so now mostly maybe it's my hopes and dreams for this game that
like
they can really so that they can really bring out this kind of beautiful artistry game to life, because it's not necessarily going to be an easy task, because I think for this kind of game you really have to bring top level narrative.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great point.
Because otherwise it will be just eye candy, and I would at least want it to be more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great
shout.
Yeah, to bring emotions, and because they definitely have the chops to make it look pretty, and now they have to make the puzzle section work out well, and the narrative side. And they had pretty good story what they had in these short trailers that they had, that to get a little bit accustomed with these characters here. Like this main character is going to be a aspiring artist to become a professional artist, and he sees from his window a old gentleman who seems to be an artist for a very long time, and maybe there is like this non-spoken transfer of ideas, and it's hard to say yet with how they will progress this narrative, but it looks interesting to me, and now I just hope that they can bring this into a coherent game.
Absolutely,
not just one part working.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the visual side of it is beautiful, isn't it? You can see that's going to be lovely. I guess you need to have something to compel you forward, is what I think what you mean, isn't it? So yeah, it's always an interesting one. But like, you sometimes find that these games they they do something different. They can give off different feelings, like of relaxation and stuff like that. Have you played games like? Have you played Gorogoa? Have you?
No,
think
no.
you might enjoy.
That's yeah. That's very nice game. That
Yeah.
has been recommended.
I recommend
many
checking out
times,
that
yeah.
for yourself, because
Yeah,
you're quite the, I think you're based on your picks anyway, but you quite like the artistic stuff. Obviously you like doing art, so
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I definitely
Yeah,
recommend.
definitely.
It's on sale on Steam at the moment as well, Goroga. So
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe I should pick it up.
Yeah, it's a couple of quid, so everything's so cheap
Yeah.
at the moment on Steam. But yeah, no, this game looks lovely though. I think they're doing it really nicely, and it's going to be interesting to see, how the actual gameplay plays out. But I think, sometimes these games, they just do a great job of just giving you that relaxation feeling and appreciation of hopefully a compelling story. So yeah, that's a fantastic pick.
And for me, like sometimes people are complaining about the length of the game, but I think that this kind of game, that they really shouldn't pad it. They should keep it like a tight package, nothing too much, and have the story impactful and the puzzles working well. Not try to make it longer.
Definitely.
If it doesn't need to be long.
Totally agree with that. Yeah, not to outstay its welcome. It's like,
exactly.
It's like Edith Finch was 2 hours long. If it was any longer, it didn't need to be. It kind of just needs to be the length it needs to be to tell that story and to give you that perfect experience. And then even like, Florence as well. I don't know if you've played that game. That was like half an hour long, and that just that's a cheap game obviously for that reason, but it's also a very nice game.
That's another game that I should really try.
Yeah, that's another one of those. I thought it might be along those lines for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent stuff, my friend. Well, that is a great pick. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Psychonauts, my buddy, how are you doing? And are you ready for a next pick?
Yes, sir. Like I said, all these games are going to be in Game Pass. So my next picks I saw at the Wholesome Direct Showcase, and that's Moonglow Bay. I love the art direction of this game. It kind of gives you, has the Minecraft blockiness of the characters. But at first, it felt like it's a whimsical, like, really great story, and then it kind of goes dark. The parents are gone, and you're left alone on this island, and it's kind of like a cooking survival type game. Really, it's really great. I liked it.
Definitely, yeah. It's again one of those relaxation vibes, isn't it?
Yeah, and the great thing that I like is that a lot of these games like this supports local co-op, and that's one thing that a lot of games kind of went away and are now coming back, is that local co-op for if you're sitting at home and you want to play with friends or family members or whatever. So it's great to see that they're supporting at least local co-op. And it's just really good look, and just the story. I'm intrigued how the story plays out.
Definitely.
Progression-wise.
Definitely, like in the voxel kind of vibes, like the art style is like that kind of blocky sort of voxel vibe, which is cool.
Yeah.
Definitely got a lot of charm to it for sure. That's awesome. And fishing in a game is always appreciated.
Yes. I love fishing in the game. I don't know what it is, but fishing in the game is like fantastic.
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it? Yeah. Like in Spiritfarer, all good stuff.
Exactly. I love Spiritfarer.
Such a great game, yeah. Good stuff, buddy. Yeah, it's a fantastic pick, buddy. I'm going to keep it moving if that's all right, unless you want to add anything about Moonglow Bay. All good? Yep, cool. Lovely stuff. So next up, we have Puxley. What would be your next pick, my friend?
Yeah, I'm going to pick quite a popular one this time. I've seen it quite a few times in the comments, and I don't think there's much more I can really add to it, because I think we all know how great the game looks, I'd like to think. So this one is a game called Death's Door, which you may or may not have heard of.
Absolutely.
Small little bird character in a world to, I don't know, save the door, I guess. We don't really know what the story is, do we?
Well, I think you're in I think you are kind of at, obviously at death's door. I think you're in the death's waiting room, essentially, if you see what I mean. And you're trying to sort of sort out these. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know, but I did hear it once, but I've forgotten it. But you carry on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I love the fixed camera angle. It kind of gives me Diablo vibes. I like the kind of simplistic looking kind of environments as well. Like everything's quite blocky, but in a good way. It actually, some of it actually kind of reminds me of how Tunic looks in terms of everything's kind of. It's very cube-like, cuboid in most cases. With
I
just
actually
detail here and there.
prefer it to Tunic. I'm sorry to say, many people will just hate me now, but I prefer this to Tunic. I'm sorry, guys.
In terms of art style, or
in general as a whole, I feel like it's. I mean, I know Tunic's not done yet, but this feels much more pacey. The combat is great. I really like the chain thing you throw out, and then you know what I mean, like that. The combat stuff is really good. It just feels snappy, and you see that chain bit which just came by now, like that kind of combat stuff. I hope Tunic has some of that added to it. We're still a long way to go with Tunic. I know I've just hurt your feelings now because you love Tunic. So,
okay, but let me just fill in though, because I do know what you mean in a way, because well, I suppose one thing is that we know this game is coming very soon. It's coming out on the 20th of July, right?
Yeah. Rubbing my hands together.
Exactly. It's actually going to be in our hands very soon. Whereas, as much as I share my absolute adoration for Tunic, it's still a game which is nowhere near the end as far as I can see. So but again comes the risk of it might fall under people's radar. And then I see a game like this, Death's Door. When I saw this first announced about a month or two ago, I was immediately suckered in, and I can't wait to play it. And it was so great to see that the release date is far sooner than I think a lot of people probably anticipated. I know I expected it to be maybe later this year, and no, it's actually in less than a month now. So it's coming out very soon.
Announced recently, wasn't it? So they held that one as quiet for a long time, didn't they?
Oh, definitely. And I really can't wait to get my hands on it.
I just feel, I think it's because maybe we need to see more of Tunic and stuff. And now Lady Foxfire said she's going to have to dislike now. I'm sorry, Lady Foxfire, I broke your heart. But no, don't get me wrong, I'm really excited for Tunic still. But maybe it is the, I don't know, this one has just got everything going on. The bosses and everything, you know what I mean? I mean, there is one boss in the Tunic demo that I saw that I played. But at the same time, I just feel like this game looks punchy, smooth, as Meisuko said. I just love everything about it. I love the tone of it. I love the cutscenes. I love everything about it. Yeah, so I'm very much a Death's Door guy. By the way, guys, I've just sort of let you guys choose. So some of the ones you've chosen, you may have noticed I'm very hyped for as well, like Death's Door, like Replaced. But I've been very selfless about this, guys. I'll let you take in the lead on the choices. If there's any I want to fill in, I will do. But yeah, I like to hear the guests' opinions. So yeah, but it's a great shout though, Puxy. So yeah, you still a bit more excited for Tunic than this, then, would you say?
Oh, no, well, I guess because I know this is coming soon, I would argue I'm actually more excited for this.
Yep, okay, cool.
It's going to be in my hands in the very near future.
That's a big deal for you, that is. You would be very excited for Tunic, so.
I know, but sometimes you got to take it off its pedestal now and again.
Yeah, so. That's it. I love it. It's not long away. I love the black and white cutscenes as well with the pop of red. I just think it's got a lot going for it. It's really nicely done.
It just adds that character. It adds the darkness of it, doesn't it? I suppose, being deaf and all kind of makes sense, and it plays it very well, I think. Yeah,
it's done very nicely. I'm definitely digging. I think it's going to be a fun one. Gameplay wise, I think it's going to be nice. It looks really tight, but yeah. Awesome pick, my friend. I love it. Good stuff. Let's move over to my man Judzilla and see if he's got one that I've actually got prepared for him this time. We're praying. What have you got for me, sir?
Well, I've got Aragami 2, which I probably pronounced completely wrong.
I think that's correct. I've heard people call it origami, and that was funny.
That's where I want to go every time I see it. I'm just origami.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks awesome.
This game looks absolutely fantastic. Now, the chat's on fire, by the way. This is awesome watching everybody.
We need to get some
talking stuff in there. It's fantastic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, so for the chat and everybody on the panel, do you remember Tenchu? Because this gives me Tenchu vibes. Yeah?
Yes.
PS1, PS2, I think is it PS1, the original Tenchu? Anyway. Yeah, so this is essentially a third-person stealth action game. and you obviously play as an assassin, and his ability is to control the shadows. So he can become invisible, he can move around by teleporting using this shadow power. It's out on the 17th of September 2021, so
Yep.
hopefully a lot of you guys haven't heard of this, and we'll take a look at it.
And it's coming to Game Pass, my friend. Did you know that?
You know what? I didn't know that.
It's a sneaky
Yeah,
little announcement on the.
I played the demo.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, I played the demo for this.
How was it?
Very cool.
Oh, it was so good. I love it because you have to be in the shadows, like, or you're gonna be revealed, and then
Awesome.
all the enemies are gonna come chasing after you.
Proper
So
stealth.
Yeah, but it's so good. You'll love it.
I think it's going to be a great one.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's basically launching on everything as well, including Linux, depending on how you want to say that.
Yep.
OS2, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. I think it's on a Switch as well. And it's also got online co-op, which is pretty cool for this kind of game. So that's going to be interesting to partner up with someone and play through this.
That will be interesting. I heard someone slagging that off a little bit, but you know, I think something not like in the comments of when they revealed it on Twitter, they were saying, "Oh no, co-op. I hope I can play it single player." Basically, not slagging it off necessarily, but I can see maybe why they would say that. But people are rude anyway. But at the same time, you know, in stealth games, you may be thinking that you would be alone, but then I bet ninjas and all these kind of assassins do maybe go in too sometimes. I don't know. I'm not really doing the real thing on the day to day, so I'm not out there with you, Judsy, baby, walking out and taking out people in real life. So
yeah, funny enough, I didn't think that was your day job, to be honest. Like, murdering people.
Yeah, well, I think it'll be fun regardless. You know, for the co-op thing to see how that plays. It's good that you can still do it in solo. So yeah, I think that's what they were worried about.
So. I've also sold another game to Lupa because obviously Assassin's in her name. So
of course,
I think we're on the
Nice.
same page tonight.
Love it. That's a great pick. I think this looks. We saw this together, didn't we? When this trailer came on, we were doing the Guerrilla Collective, and that trailer we just watched there came on, and we were like, I think it was the first game they showed actually on day 2 of the Guerrilla Collective, and it was like, boom, this is really good. And I never really heard of the first one that much. I did look it up, and it doesn't look as good as the second, in my opinion. But
no, I agree.
You've checked it out, have you?
Yeah. To be honest, though, I mean, it's been far too long since we've had a decent Tenchu game. I mean, there's been a lot of games in this style, and there's been a lot of games like what's that PS game, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep.
Things like that, but nothing that's really sort of been a spiritual successor to Tenchu. And I think I've got high hopes anyway, so we'll see. But
that's a great show. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one. It's great that it's coming to Game Pass. That was a definite surprise. They didn't really put much emphasis on that. I think it may have even been confirmed either after the showcase or it was on one of the images where it said all the games that are coming to Game Pass within the showcase. I can't remember if that was in it or it was after on Twitter, to be honest, but it was on one of those images where it had all the games that are coming to Game Pass anyway. So 17th of September, it's coming to pretty much everywhere, including Game Pass, which is fantastic. More people will get to check it out, and that is a fantastic pick once again, my friend. And let's move on to my man Meisuko. What have you got for us, buddy?
So we have the lake, short and sweet.
Very nice.
So yeah. So this game is basically made in the Netherlands. So not actually made in the US, but I think they have created very convincing looking
Facts.
1980s American small town next to the lake.
Yeah.
And all the this kind of homey atmosphere that this kind of small towns have, at least in the movies.
Yeah, what I imagine, it looks really quaint and lovely, like rural sort of American rustic-y town. We've never been there, but you know what I imagine it like, you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just have the movies to
exactly
get an idea of these.
Definitely, it's good choice. Yeah. So basically, I was intrigued of this game before because it looked a little bit like Firewatch. I got this vibe out of it. Yeah.
And what I have learned now, it doesn't look like it would be as tragic, the backstory as in Firewatch.
Right.
But basically, yeah. So basically, this main character is a woman in her 40s, and she has been working her life in IT field, and now she is helping her dad when he is going for a holiday for 2 weeks. So she will take his place, being the mailman.
Yeah.
So delivering post packages and mail around the town. So
Yeah.
of course,
It's a strange story, isn't it? Like, she
Yeah.
works in the city, doesn't she? As in the rat race or whatever. I think is that right? And then she's
yeah.
and now she's going off to this small town to do, like you say, mail delivery. It's really quite random, but I get the feeling there's quite this underbelly of there could be something going on, because in the trailer they hint towards, or like they're like, is Guz relaxing town, or is there something strange going on? Was that, did you get that? Did you play the demo of it as well?
Yes. For this one, I played the demo. So actually, everything works gameplay-wise.
Nice.
Everything works. Like it's a narrative game, so it doesn't have to be top-notch, the controlling and handling and these kind of things. But it doesn't get in the way of the story. And I would say that the writing on this game is good. I didn't have anything to complain on that side, and the short missions and the people that you meet, they seem to be like having enough dimension in them, that they are not just stereotypical people or so I think that there will be enough meat in this game, and
Nice.
it looks very relaxing, and somehow this kind of game is the kind of relatable for myself.
Oh, really?
Because it's like I mean, like, I've been working in the IT for all of my life.
Sure. So you wouldn't mind stepping into her shoes and doing the mail in this small town?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going to the boonies and taking it easy.
Absolutely, I definitely get you there. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's a great show. Yeah, it's sometimes it's not always like, again, about these massive things. This is again where indies shine. They can be very focused in on a small kind of like just specific subject that they want to focus on, and it seems like that this is doing that. It's got that very nice, relaxing quaint feel. There's a hidden cult in the game, by the way. The Hollow Knight cult. But yeah, no, it does seem really lovely. I did watch someone play the demo of it actually, and the voice acting seems very good in it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it seems nicely done. Yeah, there was a bit of popping on the trees and stuff, which hopefully they're going to iron out. But did you find that?
Actually, I would say that the popping is pretty much only in the beginning. They had some kind of issue there. But when you are really driving there and traveling, I didn't see popping at all. So it worked well. So that was just something small in the beginning.
That's fantastic.
Actually, this game is coming pretty soon.
Yes.
So September the 1st.
That's true. Another game to add to that list of coming soon games. It's scary.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great shout. Lake looks fantastic. I know Fastback has mentioned he's excited for this game too. Wonderful. Great pick, my friend. Let's move on to
Thank you.
My pleasure. Psychonauts, what have you got up for us next, my friend?
Yeah, so this next game, now, all the games that have announced except for replaced are all coming out this year as well. So the next one is Little Witch in the Woods. Now, Little Witches in the Woods is a fantasy role-playing game where you get to live the life of a witch. You play as Ellie, a little witch that has come to a new town, and you are set to be a part of a witch's house. However, when you arrive, it appears that the house is near empty, and the witch's house is in despair. Your ultimate goal is to master witchery by learning potions as an apprentice at the witch's house and gather materials from across the land, a magical and mystical place full of unique experience. The game itself looks... I love the pixelated art style that this game has. It just looks so good.
It wasn't on the list, so I'm trying to pull it up there.
Oh,
it wasn't
sorry.
actually a game I've heard of. Little Witch in the Woods. It's not very. I've not heard of it before. Why have I not heard of this game before? That is strange.
I forget where they showed it this year, but I do remember they did a show announcement at the ID at Xbox earlier this year.
Oh, was it at that? Right. Okay. That's
They
cool.
did announce it there, but I believe they showed it again at one of the show, either at Wholesome Direct or Future Game Show.
I could have been at Wholesome easily. Yeah, different. Cool. It's up on there anyway. But yeah, no. Like I said, not heard about this one, so I can't add anything. Let us know. Yeah, I mean, like what you said there, it's kind of cozy. Is this the right game I'm reading? Because I can't even confirm it like that.
Nope,
Thank you.
That's it. That's it. That's exactly the game.
Beautiful. Yeah, this would definitely fit into the Wholesome Direct. That's for sure. But yeah, so is it survival based or is it kind of crafting and stuff?
It's crafting. It's a lot of craft. So you have to. So to make your potions, you have to go and wander the world or wherever this takes place, and gather materials for different potions, and like the little creature that you take and make a potion out of him, and so it's a fun little game that I think Sunny Side Up is making.
Fantastic, buddy. No, that is cool. Excellent. No, looks very interesting, and loving the pixel art as well for sure. Cool. Let's go. We'll keep this one moving a little bit, and let's move straight over to Puxley with his next pick, if that's all right, please.
No problem at all. We've seen in the chat earlier about games with foxes in them, and I'm going to bring out a new one to the fray, which got announced quite a while ago. Actually, I've been following this development for a long time, and this is a little game called Trifox, which is a twin-stick action-adventure game inspired by classic platformers. At least that's their own tagline.
Yeah.
General
Nice.
point of the game, you play as what is called a multi-talented hero who's on a quest to restore his invaded and plundered home. And at least by the trailer and from what the devs have recently announced, effectively you're fighting your way through enemies, boss battles, and all sorts of environmental puzzles and challenges, trying to discover what your quest is, and that there may be more than meets the eye, they say.
Nice.
And again, it's a bit of a trend with my picks. They all kind of have a similar kind of fixed camera style, that kind of top-down look.
Yeah.
Cutesy-looking characters, quite colourful, although the other ones were actually black and white, but you get what I mean.
Yep, definitely.
And what I like about this one is that it's not just the one character. There's actually 3 different classes. You can play as the engineer, the warrior, or the mage.
That's
And
cool.
that's who they've announced. And the idea is that you're the same character, but you can kind of pick and choose between different play styles. So you're going through the same adventure, but in a way that suits you. And I really like that style to it. It kind of gives a bit of choice
Definite.
and variety.
Looks
And,
really cool. Yeah, I've had
another
my
game I'm
on
really
this
looking forward to.
slightly for a while actually. I've had it's been around for a little bit, I think, and I always like the kind of top down twin stick shooter games personally. Like if another just quick, I keep sliding in Steam sale recommendations, but pick up Runa on Steam for like £2 right now, guys. If you haven't already played Runa, it's bloody amazing. So it's like £2. Pick up. Sorry, now back to Trifox. Sorry. Yeah, I love twin stick shooters though. This kind of definitely appeals to me as well. It's a great pick, buddy.
So it's got that kind of, again, another game that's got like a Diablo-esque style in my eye. Not necessarily in terms of gameplay, but just how it looks and how it looks to feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to trying this one. I say a bit longer to wait. 2022 is all they
2022,
say.
yeah.
But
I
yeah, I'm
wonder-
really looking forward to this one.
Nice, bro. I'm wondering if this one actually might not be twin stick shooter style. It's kind of top down. It might. Do you reckon it's twin? You know how with the how they usually control. I don't know if it might not. Just it might be more Death's Door control-ish. If you see what I mean, would you say?
No, I don't get that impression. I think this will
Will
be a traditional twin stick shooter.
Right, cool.
Moving with the left stick and you aim where you're facing with the right
Yeah.
stick is kind of how I'm feeling it. And
Cool.
And some of the parts of the gameplay I see there, that's kind of how it looks to me. So no, I mean I
Nice.
could be wrong, but I
Yeah.
don't get that vibe if I'm honest.
Nice. Well, that's cool. I mean, either way is great, but quite like the old twin stick shooter style-y, as I say. And yeah, this has a lot of charm to it. And it's this demo actually, this trailer we're looking at the moment actually is a pretty good one to see because I've seen a lot of that sort of sandy sort of area. So
Yeah.
in trailers previously, so it's good to see all these sort of interior sections which look really nice actually, and some platforming elements going on as well, which is definitely cool.
Just seen a question in the chat quickly from Lady Foxfire, who asked what platforms, and on their website they say coming to PC and consoles. And I think at the end of the trailer, I think they even have the general snippets of where it's coming to. So I believe it's all consoles and PC. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully it's it will give us in just a second. I'll pause it if it's going fast. But yeah, fantastic pick, and another one for Lady Foxfire to add to her Fox arsenal. Fantastic stuff. I'm loving it. She says happy dance to this one, I believe. That's great. Let's just pause this in case it goes past. No, there's no platforms on the end of the trailer. It's 2022, but yeah, consoles and Steam, like you say on the website. But yeah, hopefully it will be. Sometimes when they say consoles, though, it means they haven't locked it down, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I see it maybe being either an Xbox or maybe a Switch game. Like I can see it maybe just being the one platform rather than all of them. But of course, if it's all of them, then all the better for everyone else. So
yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to wait and see, unfortunately.
Yeah. So what I think, if it's okay, guys, we'll do. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know how many we've got to go before we do them all, but I think if we're gonna just do one more round, if that's all right with you guys, because I don't want to keep you here forever and all that stuff. Is that okay for everybody here to do one more round?
That's fine with me. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Yep. So it's already quite long, so I apologise. Yeah, but like, yeah. So pick if you've got a few there left. Go for your top pick of the day, boys. And yeah, what I'll do is I'll choose, maybe one or two at the end. I don't know if you've missed one. I'll just do a real quick just to mention of a couple. If you don't pick the glorious boy, as everyone knows what that is probably. But yeah, there's a couple which I definitely want to pick, but I think you might pick one of those. So hopefully, but yeah, let's get into it because I'm wasting time. Judzilla, my friend, what would be your final pick of the day, brother?
Well, my final pick of the day. This has made it slightly more difficult because I think we've all got about three more.
Unless you want to just whip off them, you can whip them off. Don't whip your pants off. Just whip the games off.
See, that wasn't me this time. I'm sitting there quite innocent, very innocent.
Sorry.
That's what I tell people. Like, so Industria is my last pick.
Okay, cool.
And this one, for me, it's quite an easy sell. So it's a first-person shooter. It's inspired by Half-Life, BioShock, and David Lynch.
Lovely.
And you're in East Berlin shortly before the end of the Cold War, and you're basically a woman that's one of her work colleagues goes missing into a parallel reality. Now, personally, if it was one of my work colleagues, they could stay there, but she goes after the work colleague to try and find what's gone on in this parallel dimension. And there's a couple of things about this that really appeal to me. One is obviously if it's got that kind of BioShock, Half-Life kind of style, I'm massive fans of both of those games, so that's really cool. Story sounds good. I don't think it showed so well I think it was Guerrilla Collective we saw it at.
I think it was.
I don't think it showed too well, but I think it's got a lot of promise. And it's got an experimental soundtrack, which for me is very interesting. So
do you know any more details on what that means, of experimental soundtrack?
All they've said is synthesizer, acoustic instruments, and melancholic vocals.
Nice.
Which again sounds like me waking up in the morning, to be honest. But
yeah, I like it.
But I'm interested. Anything like that can give inspiration for me as well. And some of the nonsense I put up is always good to listen to. So yeah, I'm very much interested in this one. Q3 2021. Very
nice. You can just quickly mention if you want to just whip them off, as I say, but did you want to, or are you happy?
No, I want to whip a couple more off, baby.
You had to whip
Given
them.
the opportunity, why not? The Last Stop from published by Annapurna Interactive. That's coming July in 2021. This looks absolutely fantastic. I think most people know about this one, so I'm not going to go into that too much.
Yeah,
obviously, same thing.
That would be, the Last Stop would definitely be one of my picks as well. I'm really, really excited for the Last Stop. It's coming very, very soon as well, guys. Just to back up on that one, because I want to give it a little bit of screen time, as well as the fact that it looks so cool. I love the Londonness about it. It's really sort of like, feels really British to me. I think the story looks really cool, and it's from the developers that made Virginia, which is a cool game. Anyway, yeah, great shout. Just want to say that because that would probably have been one of mine. And I love the story. It looks like almost like Doctor Who. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
But it's cool, buddy. Great stuff. And the other one you're about to say, sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say Omno, which I spoke about briefly earlier, which I think we've covered, and the last one I would say just to look out for is called Varvarion. It's by a single Japanese developer, and it's almost like an anime fighting game. It's quite difficult to explain.
Yeah,
but go check that out. Varvarion.
That's on the screen right now, in case you're wondering, guys. So yeah, it looks like quite mad in a good way, kind of very Japanesey, would you say?
Exactly. Yeah.
It looks great.
I'll type
actually
the name into chat as well. It does look good, and for one developer, that's very impressive.
That is incredible, actually, to make this with one developer. Yeah, wonderful stuff. Yeah, so I'm wondering how the gameplay will play out on that, but maybe we can dive into that another time. But yeah, that's fantastic. So this is Varvarion, and as you just said a minute ago, as I streamed the other day, which is on the screen now, Omno was one of your other picks. Fantastic game. Is super excited for that game, and I cannot wait for it big time. But yeah, great picks there, my friend, and nicely done with signing it off nice and swiftly. Thank you very much, buddy. Meisuko, what would be your final pick? And if you wanted to reel off a couple quickens then from the ones you chose, then let me know.
Yeah, for sure. So I can talk about all of them in a short way. So
lovely.
Let's because I want to give shout out to these. So first I can talk about the Dead Trash game. So single developer from Germany, and this is like a RPG game in a Fallout style, but actually it's not point and click, but more action-based game. And this is going to be hitting early access this year in the August. And this developer has also been working on this for 6 years and no previous experience. And I played the demo and looking really good. And
nice.
Even the developer said that he started with the gameplay, even though the focus is the story. But he knew that he has to get the gameplay working before focusing the story, and that's a very good sign in my books.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I am pretty sure that this is going to be a great package.
Nice.
So yeah, so the next game is another art game, and this one is coming from France.
Lovely.
And the game is also located in France, so it's the Dordogne area in France.
Definitely one of my picks too. I'm well with you there. Go for it. It's amazing.
This one is really beautiful. So this is actually a pretty big team, 10 persons, and on Twitter they have been hiring more people, looking more more people to the team. So the basic premise of the game is that this Mimi, who is the character here, her grandmother has passed, and she is actually a young woman, but she is going back in her memories and going through the puzzles and so on. I don't know if there is anything dark in the background, or is it just like a feel-good game? But it looks stunning. And
it does.
I am really waiting to play this game. But this one doesn't have this one doesn't have any release date yet, so nothing concrete.
Yeah, I think what I've gleaned was the not the release date wise, but like as in the story wise. I think you're an adult, but this is back in time or something, and that you're reliving your childhood through memories and stuff.
Yes.
That's
exactly.
It's very nice, and the watercolor art style. Obviously, I'm sure you're in love with. I certainly am, and I'm not an artist in any way, but I absolutely adore the visuals of this game. It's all properly hand done. The lead developer on the game is the guy that does the art, so it was very much his vision to do that style.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah,
So,
nice, fantastic pick.
Very good. Very good.
Definitely.
And then the last game is a riddle game, Unbeatable. So this is one of the games that was lost while I was watching the streams, and I really was lucky that I went through the streams again. And this is going to be a rhythm game, and it has a heavy anime inspired. It has this old 90s Gainax feel to it, and it is going to be a simple rhythm game, so only 2 buttons, and that's pretty much as I can handle in a rhythm game.
It makes sense to keep it simple with rhythm games, doesn't it? So you can just focus on the rhythm and stuff. Definitely, it looks really cool though. It's mad and in a good way. I do enjoy a rhythm game myself.
Yeah. And if you want to go and try it, they have a demo on Steam. You can play it, and they have some kind of like a song package also if you want to get more tracks. So, and they also have this kind of Kickstarter Slack backer system going also. So if you want to back them up later, and I think I will go and try the demo. Haven't had time to do that yet, but I will definitely try it out because this looks like a game for me.
Definitely, it's awesome.
Just the style is amazing.
The music's really good in it as well. Obviously, that's important in a rhythm game.
Yeah. The songs that I heard, that they had punk music, J-rock, J-pop, even some kind of a little bit like. How would I describe it? A little bit, not exactly industrial, but a little bit like this kind of electronic industrial thing going on also. So
sounds good.
It's going to be great. I think so. So, and anyway, there is the demo, so go and give that a shot on Steam. So that's everything for me, and
awesome.
Let's continue.
Fantastic, buddy. That was lovely picks, and great job. And let's move on to my man Psychonauts to wind up his final picks, and in the same process, if that's cool, buddy. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about these last 2 picks, and the first one is going to be "Nobody Saves the World" by Drinkbox Studios.
That was one that we didn't have on the list, but that's fine. I don't think that was actually E3, my friend, but I can definitely bring it up if you want to chat about it.
That was at, they said, a future game show. Actually.
Oh, was it at that? Sorry, I probably missed it because I didn't watch all of that. That's cool. Right. I'll bring it up.
It's okay. Yeah, so if people who don't know, Drinkbox Studios, they developed Guacamelee 1 and 2. So Nobody Saves the World is a new twist on an action RPG in which you play different forms of characters with their own unique gameplay mechanics. So you start off as a humanoid who wakes up without any memories. Soon after, you find this magical wand and allows you to change into many different forms. It looks really great. You change into a horse, all sorts of different characters in there. So the different little gameplay. So it's not like you're playing as one character. So you have different array of tool sets and that.
Definite.
It's really cool. I love
the concept is really cool. Definitely, it's a lot of variety in the gameplay, like you say. The visual style is awesome as well. Like Drinkbox are proper good at making that sort of poppy art style, aren't they? Really vibrant. Like with Guacamelee, they've done that as well. It looks absolutely awesome. I'm definitely up for it as well. That's a great shout. I must have missed it on the old on the future game show because I watched about 3/4 of it, I think, maybe. But that's great. It was shown off as well. Did they knuckle down a release date on that trailer or?
No, they didn't say when, but everything's like coming 2021. So they just haven't locked down, and it's coming in Game Pass. So I think that's why they haven't locked down the actual date.
Yeah.
So because there's so many games coming in August and July, August, and September. So I think they're just trying to find the sweet spot. For
exactly.
this game.
Often they'll leave it to pretty much the last minute as well. With indie games, it's usually like a month before or something like that they'll let that release date come out. So maybe it'll be October or something. Maybe, I don't know, just to go after or something like that. But yeah, if it's 2021, that's looking good. It's a great looking game. I remember it was shown off previously start of the year, so definitely went straight onto the radar big time. But yeah, that's a great shout, buddy. Have you got any others that you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, my last one is Craftopia. Craftopia. They're the developers Pocket Pair, and that's
that game's already out, isn't it?
Not for Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that shown off as well on this? Where was that shown? Future Game Show.
Yeah.
Okey-dokes.
So they Xbox, it's coming to Game Pass because it was early access on Steam last year. So but it's going to be on Xbox this year. So that's why like I said, a lot of my games are coming for Game Pass. It's really cool. It's a multiplayer open world survival game, and there's just so much that this game brings to, you know, because you can chopping trees down, mining stones in an open world, fight hunger, so you can cultivate harvest with like farming, collect loot, and you have dungeon hack and slash, automotive activities where you factor, so you have your factory management, hunt monsters and creatures, and like hunting action, and cast spells like as like an RPG, and it gives you that Breath of Wild art style.
Definitely got that, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, great stuff. That is fantastic. So it's out. It's not out on Xbox. It's not out on console. It's on PC, isn't it, at the moment? So
yeah, it's early access on PC, but it's coming out soon this year. Again, 2021. They're probably just trying to nail down the release date for this. It looks fantastic. Yeah,
it really does. Definitely. That's a great pick, buddy. Fantastic. Any others you had, or is that all of yours? Sorry.
No, that was it.
Great stuff.
I love everyone else picked the ones that I wanted, so I'm like, also did one. Yeah,
I'm sort of I'm restraining myself so much with so many picks, so it's really hard. But yeah, I'll fill in a couple quickly in a minute. But yeah, that is awesome. You've picked some great ones though, and everyone has too. But we're gonna finish up with my man Puxley. I'm sure he's got an awesome one or two or three or whatever he needs to wind up on. And let's see what he's got, man. He's got the goods usually. So how's he got them now? What have we got, Puxley?
Well, we'll find out, I guess. I've got two more to go through.
Cool.
First one is a small little game, which I think we've all seen a number of times, called Kiwi, which came up again during the Future Games Show during E3. This game kind of really reminds me of like the Overcooked games, where it's a local co-op game where you're two Kiwi birds working at a post office, and the idea is that you both need to run around or walk around or whatever else, type in the names of the person you need to send the post to, and as you can see on the screen now, I believe you can run around, jump on the buttons, you print the ticket, you put the ticket on the envelope, take it to the window, the bird takes it away, and you do that again and again and again. And
Definitely.
Again, so it gives you those massive Overcooked vibes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I love that. I love and hate that game at the same time because it stresses me out, but in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. I love Overcooked too.
It's such great local co-op fun, and I get this kind of vibe from that. And similarly, so I mean, as you can see on the screen now, you can customize your characters and all that kind of jazz. But again, like Overcooked, it's got the different environments as well. So yes, you're in like the same post office type environment, but there's all sorts of different switches and environmental hazards and things you have to watch out for that can block you. There's an octopus there on the screen, you can see. It just looks like wacky fun, and I think I'm really looking forward to trying this out. At least on PC, I believe it's also coming out on the 31st of August this year. So
yeah, I saw that actually.
Not too far away. It says it on the end of the trailer there as well.
Oh, it does. Yeah, it sure does. And it says Xbox at the bottom there, so that maybe means Xbox as well that day, potentially.
Yeah, that'd be good if it is the same day. It's great fun. Really looking forward to trying this one out.
This was ripped from the Xbox channel, I think, this trailer. So that must mean that it was. So
good news,
that's pretty good news for Xbox fans. I really dig this though. Yeah, it looks super cool. It's well, not cool really, maybe just charming and sort of like sweet, if you know what I mean.
It's completely different, right? You don't really see a game where you control a Kiwi. So
yes, indeed. You've got to spread the love for the Kiwi birds there.
I think final thing before I move on as well, I think, is that they've got really like standard names, like what they're called, Jeff and Deborah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So nothing extravagant or exotic. It's just simple, like Dave and Keith type names. That just pretty bog standard. Not there's anything wrong with that.
No,
but,
I love that. That makes it even better. Do you know who's developing or publishing this?
Developed by Stone Wheat and Sons, and it's published by Sold Out.
Oh, okay, so because it's got
at least according to the Steam page.
It's really got like Team 17 written all over it, but you know
it does. Yeah, definitely.
They missed out on this one, didn't they? They didn't snap that up
100%.
for publishing.
This would be nabbed up immediately otherwise. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, it's good to see someone else doing this sort of stuff because I love it. But yeah, that's a great pick, buddy. I'm really looking forward to that game. And I, finished Overcooked 2 with my good lady, and we didn't kill each other by the end, so that was one of our life achievements, to be honest.
I'm the other way around with my partner, so yeah, we tend to try to kill each other when we play, so it's like a stress relief for about 10 minutes, and then it's almost like the other way around.
There was a few moments where it was tense, so I have to say. But awesome stuff, buddy. What would you like to throw out there next, buddy?
Yeah, my final one that I've got is a game I think might have gone under most people's radar, and it's completely different to all the games I've had out so far, and this is a small little title called Death Run TV. Now, This reminds me kind of like Escape the Gungeon in terms of how the characters look and how the gameplay plays, and that you're like these 2D sprites, but you're in a 3D environment. It's very fast-paced shooting action. It also reminds me of an old Xbox 360 indie arcade title that was called I Made a Game with Zombies in It.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Nice.
And the main mechanic of that game, it was a very simple and quick indie game where you just shoot zombies, but like there's a soundtrack and there's glowing lights and music playing as you're killing people, killing zombies, I guess. Yeah. And this one's very similar. So I think the idea here is that you're almost trapped on a game show where you have to fight for your life, so hence it's called Death Run TV. But then as you're playing, there's like all sorts of like heavy metal playing in the background and like just proper metal vibes and all that sort of stuff as you're slaying away. And it just looks like, again, it's simple, quick, drop-in fun by the looks of it, and completely different from everything else I've done so far, and I think it just looks really cool. Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw this game like last year at E3 or something, I think. It was a bit more stripped back, and I remember it's got like a focus of like with the TV aspect. I think they're like you have to earn like fans and stuff. It's kind of like you're on this sort of TV show or something, and you're fighting. Did you look into much of that? Or
I believe it is. Yeah, I mean, it even says in the trailer, I think, likes at everything. The way to get out is to you've got to generate the most likes for the TV network before you're actually allowed to escape, kind of thing. And to do that, you have to be as death defiant as possible. So
yeah, it's quite a cool idea. It's always a bit sinister, but it's fun.
I don't know if it's multiplayer though. That's the thing. Right. But I'd like to think it is.
It should be.
I haven't seen anything advertising as such, at least from what I've read or looked up. But I'd like to think I'm wrong there, because a game like this looks perfect for multiplayer.
It does, yeah, and definitely, into the Gungeon vibes in there. Definitely, that's fantastic. Cool. Was there any others you wanted to mention, or is that you all good?
I think that's me for now, yeah.
Lovely jubbly, that's fantastic. Very much, yeah. Thank you very much, my friend. Cool. So there is a couple which I'll just quickly mention at the end, if that's all right, guys. I'm surprised actually no one's brought this one up. I think maybe someone even mentioned it and didn't say it on when it was time, but yeah, I've got to say this one because this one was in the thumbnail and it was probably my favorite reveal out of the whole of E3, maybe in the top 3 anyway. There's been some good ones, but this one has got to be mentioned. I'm sure all of you guys are on board with it as well, and that is Planet of Lana, which looks totally and utterly incredible. I imagine all of you guys saw the Planet of Lana reveal in the Summer Game Fest KickOff live show. Did you guys see
I did.
this?
Looks amazing.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Absolutely It's just
Looks fantastic.
It's just out of this world good, isn't it? But yeah, the art style in this is so stunning. Yeah, I'm glad to see it's getting a lot of attention as well. Well deserves that. But yeah, kind of for me, this kind of gives me sort of vibes of almost like a more sort of colourful and kind of more beautiful, I suppose, version of like Inside or something like that. Because there seems like there's definitely something sinister going on with these kind of like pods that are maybe coming in, and yeah, it seems like there might be sort of different kinds of races going on as well. You've got like these like droid-like creatures going around, and you've got these sort of other creatures as well that hide in the shadows and stuff like that. But yeah, it just looks absolutely stunning. The art style, I'm sure Meisuke appreciates it greatly, but yeah, I'm sure we all do as well, because it's just it's so stunning. It's I actually saw this game quite a while back, and I followed them on Twitter. So this was one of my kind of like, oh my god moments, if you know what I mean, when it came on. It was like I just followed them for their screenshots on Twitter, and this is the first trailer they've put out. So when it came on the Summer Game Fest, I was like, oh my god, this is it. This is that game. This is Planet of Lana. And it was, and it was it. And it looks so damn good. So this game, is definitely one of my favourite reveals of the whole of the E3 period. This was, like I say, shown at the KickOff live show, and for me, it definitely stole the whole show. I don't care what was that game that came up last again? That big game, you know. I don't know who goes about that. But anyway, this game was the game that got that show and most of the other shows. So Planet of Lana. Sorry, go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because it looks like the beginning is very colorful. So let's say if it takes a darker turn, I think there is a chance that the emotional effect is going to be even stronger than, let's say, Limbo or Inside.
Definitely.
Those games are all the time dark. So maybe there is more contrast in this game.
That is a great point, actually, because I can see that, because you've got your furry friend with you as well, and it seems like there's a connection between you. And there's moments like in that screenshot on the thumbnail, like where he's sort of about to get eaten potentially by that massive creature and all that stuff. And like you say, I think you could definitely see some sort of story where it does get a bit sad and emotional. I think you could be right there, because like in Inside, it is always a bit dark all the way through, and it is very much open to interpretation, that Inside as well. It's kind of, the story is quite intentionally vague in a way, which works for it very well. Inside is absolutely marvelous. And speaking of Inside, guys, I don't think any of you guys brought this up a minute ago, but we've got to lead on to, I'm just trying to do a segue, all right? Is that all right? We're leading on to Somerville, of course, which is made by the guy that made Inside. You see what I'm doing there?
It's like listening to an artist at work. You're doing, it's amazing. Blow me away.
Oh dear, it's one time I've actually done one of those things. So I shouldn't really have a moment of celebration while I'm doing it. Just totally ruin the whole thing. But anyway, Somerville, my friends. That was the other time when I had this moment as well, because I'd watched the Somerville trailers. The very, very kind of how do we say? So it didn't give much away, the other trailers. There is a word for that I'm not thinking of right now. But the other trailers that they put out, literally just like the planet Earth there, and it was sort of like sound effects. So it's just a vibe kind of trailer, where this one obviously dived into gameplay and everything. But when I saw Jump Ship pop up, I was like, oh my god. It just sort of like, Jump Ship is obviously the studio that was formed by the ex-CEO of Playdead, who made Inside and Limbo, and but what happened is they went their separate ways. The two CEOs of Playdead, they sort of had a disagreement of creativity. They had sort of creative differences, and then he decided to go his own way, and that's why he called it Jump Ship. He's Jump Ship from there. You don't need that explaining. But he's made up his own studio, but it's not all about just Dino Patti, who is the guy that left. He also joined up with a guy called Chris Olsen, who is in the UK. Shout out to the UK again. And it's actually not that far away from me where that guy is based. But so he formed it, like I say, a studio with Chris Olsen, who has got a really good background in. He's been in movies, I think, and stuff like that, and cinematics and things. He's got a good cinematic background. So Dino Patti and him joined forces, and they've made the new studio Jump Ship, which are now making Somerville. And the reveal was epic on the Xbox stage. Xbox have snapped up a good one there, that is for sure. So for that Game Pass Day 1 release, and yeah, Somerville, man, it's looking absolutely awesome. It's definitely got inside kind of feel to it. So there's obviously Dino Patti, he's putting his part in there, so they are definitely working together on that. But it seems like it's going to be an amazing game. I love Inside. It's a 10 out of 10 pretty much. So not pretty much, definitely. But yeah, you guys excited for Somerville?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this will look fantastic.
Yeah.
This one also was shown at the Xbox E3 event.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, it was amazing to see it on the big stage there, because it's well deserving of that, because it's an amazing game and amazing pedigree behind it, and I'm sure an amazing game. But it's interesting, you've got a lot of other elements for these sort of like, kind of, I don't know what's going on. There's like the world catching up on you or something, or like some sort of like, I don't know what's going on.
Alien invasion.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost like an alien. Yeah, because like when they're sitting there at the couch, you hear this noise, and then the little kid pops his head up, and then you see the shadow in the hallway. You're like, Nick, don't go there, kid.
Exactly.
Don't go.
I love it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like they're on the run, isn't it? It seems very much like they're always on the run from something, and almost like a not an invisible force, but a force that's catching up with them, and they need to keep away from, or something. So yeah, it's quite an interesting thing going on there. I'll be interested to find out more about what's going on there. But finally, guys, I just want to do one more, if you don't mind. There was a couple more of them, but don't worry, it's all good. This one has got to be on there, and I know what Juds is going to know which one it is. And it's Harold Halibut, guys. I've got to show him. I've got to show my man. I know Juds loves this game as well, so it's got to be done. But yeah, Harold Halibut, a handmade video game is what it's called, and I think they say it's like a different handmade adventure game, I think, or something. But yeah, literally handmade. They make the models of all of the world and everything, the characters, and they scan it all in. I know we mentioned this slightly earlier, but I just wanted to do this as a pick. Harold Halibut deserves so much more love than it's getting. It's quite slightly under the radar at the moment. I would love to see some of you guys get on board behind Harold Halibut, because this one's got BioShock vibes and everything going for it, in my opinion, with the underwater world thing going on. So basically what's happened is you are an alien, you were in a spacecraft, and you've crash landed on an alien planet, which is a water-filled alien planet. So you've ended up inside the ocean, inside of an alien ocean. So you are now basically what they've done is they've started their life there because of the situation, and yeah, it's just they've made the community out of it and everything. And then I think because Earth is uninhabitable at the moment, so they are kind of starting life on a different planet and all this stuff. But there's an intriguing story, as well as the amazing aesthetic that's going on in this game. Really, absolutely adore it. The amount of love that's going into this game is ridiculous. They're making everything, scanning it, then animating it, and voice acting, everything going on. It's just amazing to see that level of attention to detail and love going into a game. Judsy, I'm sure you'll like to talk about a bit of Harold Halibut, I'm sure.
Yeah, just quickly for me, I think this is I think it's 2 developers doing this, if I recall correctly, or a very small team.
Yeah, but I think they're a bit bigger because they've got like the team that make the models, as well as so I think it's about 10 actually. I think it is slightly bigger because they have people who actually make the stuff in one side, and then they have people doing the actual animation side of things. So I think it's about 10 or so.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, to be honest, when you look at the amount of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
For me, it's such a unique, I don't think we've seen anything quite like this in games before. And if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend to go and watch the what we're seeing here, actually, to listen to them talk about the process they go through and to see some of the behind the scenes stuff. Absolutely fantastic. I think it's going to be a massive hit when it gets out there. So
that would be awesome.
I can't wait for this one.
Nice, yeah, great stuff. That's a great shout, and yeah, like I mean, like I say, Bioshock vibes being under the water is always a good thing. But like, watch the trailer, guys, to Harold Halibut. It's so well done, and then like you say, there is bits where they explain how it's made, and yeah, the level of detail that goes into it is phenomenal. But yeah. I love it because, and it's interesting because like some people might think, oh, this is going to be like a point and click game, but it's actually not. You control the character like you would in in a non point and click game. So you move him around with the left thumbstick. You don't point and then click and then he moves over to that area. There have been some games before which have done that, which are done in this way, stop motion style. But yeah, this one is actually you control him like you would, like on the left thumbstick, move him around like that, and then press A to action or whatever. But yeah, we have gone on way too long. I'm so sorry if anyone who's who's feeling like we've gone on forever. I'm so sorry to the panel if you feel like you're very fatigued. This was meant to be more concise. Why did it happen? I should have just gone straight into the pick, shouldn't we? We shouldn't have done the warm up, but then we would have pulled a muscle. But yeah, anyways, guys, I think we should probably wind things up. It's been an absolute blast. I hope you've seen something new, and maybe you've seen like a game that's wowed you, and it's gone, wow, yeah, let's put that on my wish list. I'm really looking forward to that now. That would mean the world to hear that, But yeah, just celebrate those indies. There's been a ton we've shown today, so hopefully you've enjoyed seeing them, guys, in the chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. But yeah, let's say goodbye to this awesome panel that I've hung out with today, starting with my man Judzilla. You're awesome as always, bro. Bringing fantastic takes and some cheeky comments too. I do say you have to watch you, my friend. But yeah, you've been awesome, bro. Thank you very much for being here. Where can they find you, brother?
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate coming on again. And I think it's been a pretty lively discussion, which is what we need. The chat's been fantastic. The panel's been awesome. You can find me on Twitter at Judzilla UK, and I've got a channel in my profile. I do music. If you want to go and check that out. Tons of variety on there. Go and have a listen, hit the thumbs up, all the normal nonsense people say. I'm on the hard slog to 100 subs at the minute, so
yeah, let's get Juds to over 100 subs. He well deserves it. His music's awesome, guys. Hop over to his channel. It's links in the description below. Definitely hit up that subscribe button and give our guys some support. He's awesome. Well deserves it.
Thank you very much. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, good stuff, bro. Thanks for being part of it again today. It's been a blast. And May Suko, it has been an absolute pleasure, bro. Thank you very much for hanging out today. Brought some great games to the agenda. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. And yeah, where would you like to?
It was a blast.
Good stuff. I'm glad to hear that, bro. Yeah, would you like to shout out where they can find you, buddy?
Yeah, on Twitter, pretty much, and of course on YouTube. I will be hanging out here on Indie Stream on Green Pass Gaming and Stubbs Gaming. Those are my main shows that I will hang out quite often, so you will see me in the chat.
Awesome, buddy. Yeah, no, it's great to chat with you in person today. It's the second time I think it is on the show, but always pleasure having you in the chat, and I really appreciate all the support you give. But yeah, always great to have you in chat or on the show, especially today. Thank you.
Thank you, Indy.
My pleasure, buddy. Been an absolute blast. And Psychonauts making his first appearance on the show. What an appearance it's been, and what a pleasure it's been hanging with you, bro. Yeah, so thank you so very much for being part of it. You brought some awesome games to the agenda to shout out today. And yeah, where can they find you, my friend?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on, Indy. It was a pleasure. I want to thank Puxley, Masuko, and Judzilla. You guys were fantastic. Chat was on fire. Loved you guys. The energy was awesome. You guys can find me everywhere on social media at Psychonauts8. I have a YouTube channel called Gamer Chat Podcast. Gamer Chat's one word. Wednesdays at 10 o'clock on Fun Pop with Mav and 3-Bit. And you can find me tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Xbox Ultimate with the Magnificent 7, where we're going to be talking about a lot of great stuff. And we have Rad and Boogie on tonight, so it's going to be a fantastic show. Again, thank you for having me on. It was fantastic.
Awesome, bro. You were wonderful. Thank you very much for being part of it. It means the world to have you on, and you rocked it big time. So thank you again. And finally, my good friend Puxley always is on top form, no matter what. He's a bit of a legend. Puxley, great picks as always, and great takes, my friend. Thank you very much for always being a great part of the channel. Means the world. And yeah, where can they find you, my good man?
Oh, thank you, Indy. You are always far too kind with your words, I have to say. But always love doing these shows. Always appreciate the invite. Thank you very much. But yes, you can all find me on Twitter at PuxleyAR, and similar to Judzilla, I have a second Twitter handle which I post my game dev progress on. It's been a bit slow going, but I do try to post every couple of days as and when I can. You can find a link to that on my at PuxleyAR profile, so if you're interested in that, please give it a look. Outside of that, you can find me at my main home of the Green Pass Gaming Podcast, which we do every Sunday at 8 PM UK time. So feel free to check us out there as well. Thank you very much.
Awesome, my friend. That is fantastic. Yeah, definitely do that, guys. Hit up all those links. Like I say, if you want the ease of going to check them out, you can check them out down in the description below. And yeah, all of the guys on the show today, definitely hit them up because they're all awesome, as you have heard for yourself. I just want to say a little slight apology as well, guys, because I apologize that I haven't been, as I always apologizing, but like I do feel bad that I haven't been interacting with the chat as much as I would like. I find it tricky, I have to say, juggling all the trailers as well as the chat. Try and make it an audio visual show for you guys. So I apologize if I've not been interacting with you as much as I would definitely have liked. I'm working on that big time. That's one of my things I'm working on the most for the podcast, is to be more interactive with the chat. So I apologize, like I say, once more, that if I haven't been,
you had your hands full.
Yeah, exactly. It's tricky managing it all, but yeah, like I say, I like to get those trailers up, and I feel like that adds something to the show. But I will get there, guys. I hope you don't mind if I haven't been interacting with you. I just want to shout you out right now, though, to hopefully make up a little bit for that, because you have been absolutely awesome today, guys. It's I've been seeing in the corner of my eyes some great comments, and some fantastic takes on all the games that have been shown, and some of your own that you've been shouting out and all that good stuff. But yeah, let's shout out some of you awesome people, as in Blue Moon FC. Thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure to see you as always. And Lady Foxfire back in the house. Thank you so much for being here, Lady Foxfire. I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's an absolute pleasure to see you in, and once again, it's great to see you back on the content, because that last video you made was from about E3, was from start to finish, locked me in. Attention was focused in. You didn't lose me for 1 second, so I enjoyed that video. But yeah, back from the dead. Awesome to see you as always. Thank you for the support, my friend. Great to see you. And it's Timmy in the house. Thank you very much for being here, my friend. You are awesome. As I say, we're going to have that conversation about Hades when it drops. I look forward to that. And who else do we have? Assassin Looper. Thank you very much for coming by. It's always a pleasure to see you. It's Timmy in the house. Thank you very much for being here. Shout out to Clowns from Four Guys with Quarters TV, dropping by at the end. Thank you very much, my friend, for being here. And who do we have? What else do we have in? Pyro Matt in the house. Let's see here. Goat Force Gaming dropped by near the end there. Thank you very much, my friend. And anybody else who dropped by, you are legends. Thank you so much. I Love Indies was in. Definitely really appreciate you coming by, my friend. Thank you for being here. I think Invader Gaming popped by. I missed you earlier, my friend. Sorry about that. Boogeyman was in the house. And Johnny No Life Gaming in the house as well. Thank you so much, literally everyone who has come by today. You are wonderful. I love you all, and your support means so much. So I hope you've, like I say, seen something you like today, seen some indie goodness, hashtag. But yeah, thank you so much to the panel. You've been on fire. It's been an amazing sort of recap, the E3 goodness. Now we can move on, and so I feel anyway, and try and soak up as much of these games that are going to be dropping, because there is a ridiculous amount. One more quick thing to say, and that is that very excited to announce that we've got a developer interview coming up on the channel. With the developer of A New The Distant Light. That is going to be taking place on the 9th of July. I do believe that is a Friday. I do believe, yes, it is. So that'll be taking place on the 9th of July. The a developer interview with, as I say, the developer of Anew the Distant Light. The name of the developer is Resonator. Cannot wait for that. It's going to be an absolute blast. I'm really excited for Anew the Distant Light. Super excited for that game. It's really looking awesome. A Metroidvania, sci-fi Metroidvania. Check out that game. It's going to be a fantastic one. But yeah, hopefully you can drop by for that one, like I say, on the 9th of July. Probably be something in between now and then, though, on the channel. But yeah, thanks again for all the support, guys. You are awesome. And yeah, I hope to see you again real soon for whatever comes up. I'm going to probably do something in between that now and the 9th. But if it's not, it'll be the 9th for that interview. Once again, have a great rest of your weekend and enjoy the indie goodness while you're doing it. And I'll catch you real soon, guys. Thanks again for watching.
Bye, everybody.